Welcome to Unlist Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today I'm answering your YouTube questions. So if you have a question about what it is that you are doing on YouTube, there's a form that is down in the description of this stream right now. It'll probably be getting dropped in the chat as well, where you can put your question in there, and hopefully we can get it answered on the show here today. I can let you know we don't have a lot of questions in there right now because I cleared the form just a little bit ago. So if you do have a question, go ahead and just get it in that form right now. You, as an early bird, one of the people that are waiting here to, for this thing to start, get your question in there now because we want to get an answer here on the show today. So I also want to let you know that today's stream, actually, before we get into that, if you are watching this on the replay and you didn't get a chance to make it live, I want to let you know that I do this stream every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. In addition to that, I want to let you know that we have timestamps that are attached to this live stream as well. So by the time you see this, there'll be timestamps added so you can just skip around to the parts that, or the questions, I should say, that matter the most to you. So you can look for those timestamps in the description or at the bottom of the player where you're watching this right now. I also want to let everybody know here that this stream today is brought to you by TubeBuddy, which is the #1 tool for YouTube content creators. TubeBuddy will help you optimize your videos for discovery, help you test your thumbnails against your audience to make sure that the thumbnails that you are making are effective for the people that you are trying to reach. They'll help you come up with video ideas and all types of other awesome things that will help you with your YouTube channel. They've got 90 different tools. A lot of people think that TubeBuddy is just a keyword explorer, but they have 90 different tools that will help you with your YouTube channel. You can try TubeBuddy for yourself if you're not already a user at tubebuddy.com/Nimin, and you can see what TubeBuddy can do for you there. In addition to that, this stream is co-sponsored by StreamYard, which is the live streaming platform that I use to stream this every single Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And the reason that I use it is because it's super easy. It's easy for me to do my stream. It's super easy for me to bring on guests when I do that. It's easy to add graphics to the screen like I have up here, right now that you can see. And more importantly, it does all the heavy lifting for me in the cloud. So even if you have a computer that sucks, I actually upgraded my computer, by the way, everybody that's here on a regular basis. So finally, hopefully we don't have any tech problems today. I've been reconfiguring all of this. It's still in temporary mode as I'm getting it all, getting it all together. But hopefully we're going to be good today, but we're going to find out. But with StreamYard, they do all the heavy lifting. So even if you are on a bad computer or something like that, you don't have to worry about it because StreamYard is doing everything for you in the cloud. In addition to that, you can hop from computer to computer if you need to, or even pass it off to guests to carry your stream on their channels or whatever the thing is that you are trying to do. You know what? Don't do it where you're carrying it off on their channel. But if you wanted to have them come on your channel and carry the stream for you for a bit, you can do that as well. But anyway, you can try that at StreamYard.com, or of course, I'll get a link to them down in the description as well. So I hope everybody's doing fantastic. I hope that you are excited to, get ready to learn today. I hope that you are, getting some, ready to get some good information. I encourage you, if you have a phone note app, go ahead and get it opened. If you have a good old fashioned pencil and paper, go ahead and get that open as well, so that if anything resonates with you through the conversation that we're having today, you can just write it down and you can say oh yeah, I'm not sure what that thing is that he's talking about. Let me go figure that out. Or he mentioned to other people to do these particular things. Let me make sure that I'm doing those things. So I encourage you to take notes so that you can take the information and not only learn it, but you can also apply it, because it's really hard to remember 3 hours worth of stuff for those of you that, are going to hang out here for the whole shebang. Scrap and Pallet Man. What's up, man? Hope that you're doing fantastic. Nice to see you in here. Congratulations to you on being a full-time YouTube content creator. Absolutely love it. Matt, what's up, man? Nice to see you in here. Matt Gabre, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Nigel, what's up, man? Hope you're doing awesome. Ruby, nice to see you here in the house today. Neil, Urban Van Life, nice to see you, my man. Hope that you're doing awesome. So we're going to go ahead and just get into the content. But before we do, one more thing that I want to let you know about, because this is a temporary thing that's going on. So I just want to let you know about this right now really quick, is AppSumo it's basically like a marketplace for people that are running promotions, and if you are looking for just all kinds of different softwares and things like that, they have tons of solutions over there. If I'm looking for something, I always hit AppSumo first. But AppSumo is currently having a promotion where they are having deep discounts on a lot of YouTube related things. So as you can see here on the screen right now, if you have been hanging out in the stream for any amount of time, or even been watching YouTube related content, I'm sure you've ran into Roberto Blake. Roberto Blake actually has his YouTube starter kit in here listed for $40 off, as a matter of fact. There's all types of, informational things in here. There's mock-ups, all kinds of things that will help you as a content creator. I'm going to drop a link to this in the, she just dropped it in there right now. So we're good there, but I'm just going to drop that link in here just so that you have that. It'll take you directly to this page that's filled with YouTube stuff, but I encourage you while you're over there to actually look around if you do end up heading over to AppSumo. So with that out of the way, hope everybody's doing fantastic. I'm pumped today. So basically, like I mentioned, I got the computer upgraded. I've got my mic cable switched out. I've done tons of testing, and so far everything has been okay. My fingers are crossed that it's going to continue to be okay, but we're gonna find out. Gotta change my cameras up a little bit. Still working on that, fine tuning that a little bit. But got the cameras changed up as well. So I kind of lost that back shot, and I exchanged that for like a crop shot right here in the front. And we're gonna see, we're gonna see how it all goes together. We're going trial by fire here in the stream today. But welcome to Unlist Live. If you are just joining us, we are talking about YouTube and YouTube related stuff. Our entire stream today is driven by the questions that you ask. So there's a form down in the description below if you want to have your question answered here on the stream today. Just go ahead and put your question down there and we will try to get it to you today. So, or get it answered for you today, I should say. So let's see here. Let's get into it. Let's go ahead and just get into the first. Let's go ahead and get into the first question here. Let me go ahead and put one thing up on screen here really quick because I forgot to do this actually last week. I do want to let everybody know that we do have a music service for content creators. It's free. You can use it in your live streams if you go to creatormix.com/stream, or you can just create an account over at creatormix.com if you're going to be putting it in your video content itself. But right here is the information for that. So let's see here. So the very first question that we have today is from Meg Desgupta. I hope I'm saying that correctly. If not, I apologize. And they mentioned that they have a educational-based channel. The goal of the channel is to educate people. And the question is, should I use Google Ads to promote my channel? So I get asked this question a lot. And the thing when it comes to ads is a lot of people will think that, if they are doing, YouTube ads, that it'll kind of shortcut things for them, right? It'll make the whole process faster. Unfortunately, what happens is if you are running ads and one, you don't know how to run ads properly, then it can work against you, but in terms of targeting. But two, if you haven't learned how to get an organic response on YouTube yet, in terms of if YouTube is showing your content to people on your homepage, they're giving your videos impressions, which they are. Then if you haven't learned yet to, get people to click on what it is that you're doing and to create a great experience for them in your video content, get them to further engage in terms of leaving comments, likes, subscribing to your channel, watching additional content, things like that. If you haven't learned that core part of being a content creator yet, then in that case, the ads aren't going to do anything for you. They'll inflate your numbers and it'll look good from the outside only by the view counts on the videos that you run ads on and any artificial, or not artificial, but any, subscribes that you've generated from it. And the downside of that is that, let's say you spent, excuse me, I have like a bug in my throat. Not literally a bug, but you know what I mean. If, let's say you spent a bunch of money on ads, right? And, you got your numbers inflated. You're like, yeah, okay, now somebody comes to my channel. They're going to think, I got like a bigger channel or I'm getting like a lot of views or whatever. And you're like, hey, this is good. Now people are going to think that. Well, the problem happens when you stop spending money. When you stop spending money, then at that moment in time, if you still haven't learned to do that, core thing with YouTube, which is learning how to get people to respond to, your thumbnails, your titles, hook them in your shorts and enjoy your content if you're making long form content. If you haven't learned how to do all those things yet, then what's going to happen is as soon as you turn off that ad spend, you're still not going to be able to get people to click. You're still not going to get people or be able to get people, further in your content. So you have to learn the core skills, I should say, as it relates to YouTube. You got to learn those core skills before you even consider, at least my recommendation. You can do whatever you want, but for, the approach that I would take is I would just learn how to get an organic response, because when you can learn how to get an organic response on YouTube, get people to respond to what you're doing, you don't have to run ads. Like, you don't even have to do it because you're letting YouTube do all of the hard work for you in terms of them showing your content to people and then people responding to it from there. So, instead of thinking, you know, hey, I should be spending money, you know, on advertising in order to get views, instead of thinking of it that way, you should be thinking, okay, I need to be spending more time like learning how to reach the audience that I'm after, learning more about how YouTube works, learning more how to edit videos, learning more how to present my content, learning more how to make thumbnails and all of that. By doing that, you'll have more money because you won't be spending that money for no reason. And two, you're going to develop the skills that are required that you'll be able to carry with you for a long time onto any platform to make good content that people will actually want to watch and that they'll actually respond to at the click level.
Super chat.
Two Spanner Danielle says, for the extra pumping and fire trials fund. Nice. Yeah, we are definitely trial by fire today. So I'm hoping that everything is going to be smooth here for the stream today. So thank you for that, Danielle. Super appreciate it. Urban Van Life Neil says, coffee on us for being AWOL. We've been off grid for 3 weeks out in the van, but nice to have internet back. Nice, man. Love it. My brother and I were actually talking about you over dinner the other night, just talking about how awesome it is that you went from like, you know, making the content about crypto and doing like okay there, but then now, you know, you're doing the van life stuff, and not only have you, have you made a thriving YouTube channel from it, but you've also created an entire lifestyle from it, which is pretty awesome, man. So high five and fist bump to you for, you know, for doing that and having the courage to, you know, just kind of swap what you were doing in order to, you know, follow your passions, man. Absolutely love it. So let's see here. So next on the list here, we've got Drift D says, I can tell you're using the SM7B, but which pop filter windscreen are you using on it? Also, I've got Cheez-Its, and they're amazing. That's good. You know, Cheez-Its are pretty good. So this is actually, I had another pop filter on this, the one that comes with it, and I ended up just ordering this replacement off of Amazon. I'm gonna be honest with you, like it's kind of, you know, chintzy if you look at it here. It's not, you know, very high quality. It doesn't feel that great. It's not very thick. However, it does the job. And, you know, my other one was getting just kind of, you know, like I've been using it a lot for, you know, I've had it for a while. So because of that, I just ordered this. It was just a replacement that I got off of Amazon. Repair Gang says, thanks for the super chat, by the way. Says, let's see, it's been so long since I caught a live stream live. Good to see you, Nick. Thanks. I appreciate that. Nice to see you in here too. I just hit 1,800 subscribers and growing about 30 every 2 days. By the way, it's Simply. That's Simply Auto Repairs, I'm guessing. Nice. So you should be hearing an applause right now. I turned something off here for my audio. I bet it's over here. No. Yeah, so I think I forgot to hook up my speakers, so I can't hear the audio as it comes out. So there's one down of, you know, trial by fire. We just had some water thrown on the trial there. So going good. But congratulations to you on 1,800 subscribers. You know, making the progress, which is awesome. Absolutely love it. Eileen Smith, nice to see you in here. Thanks for swinging by. Hope that you are doing fantastic. Doug and Chantel, hope that you guys are doing great too. Okay, so the next question that we have on our list, and if you are just joining us, we're talking about YouTube, all things related to YouTube, being a content creator. Everybody in the chat today is a content creator as well, so you know you're amongst your folks, so to speak. So feel free to chat and, you know, all that good stuff. So the next question that we have here, another issue that I'm having is a display thing. So I have to open up my form here full screen when I look at the question and then close it back down to minimize it. But this one's from T-Ruz Reaction. T-Ruz Reaction says they do daily content. It's a reaction channel. The goal of the channel is to entertain people. The question is, how can I get more watch time and views? So when it comes to YouTube, everything is based on performance. So it's performance of course, you know, we always want to do better than our last video, but it's also the performance of everything that's happening on YouTube right now that YouTube thinks that is a good fit for the people that they think your content's a good fit for. So you are competing against, you know, everything that, like, let's say that I'm in your target audience. And YouTube knows I'm in your target audience and YouTube shows me your content, you know, on a regular basis and all that. Well, as part of that, let's say that I'm also watching, you know, stuff about, you know, making music. Let's say I'm also watching stuff about tech and, you know, things like that. You're competing with all those other topics that I'm interested in as well. So, you know, because of that, you have to make sure that you're getting a good response. What does a good response look like? Well, On every single YouTube channel, one of the things that you're going to have access to is you're going to have access to your click-through rate. You're going to have access to your average view duration. You're going to have access to your in-screen click-through rate. You're going to have access to like all your engagement metrics. So you can use those things to help you better understand how people are responding to what it is that you're doing. So, we can publish content and we can just blindly, go like this and just, hope that, we made some right choices. Or we can say, okay, things aren't going as good as I would like them to here right now. So because of that, let me really start digging in and trying to understand how the people that I'm reaching with my content, how they are responding to what it is that I'm doing and all aspects. So for example, you would go into your click-through rate and you would look at that based on the amount of impressions that you're getting, of course, but you don't look at it just in the averaged out view. You go into the traffic sources report and then you look at it, like what does your click-through rate look like coming from browse features? What does your click-through rate look like coming specifically, if you click into that, from home pages? What does your click-through rate look like coming from suggested videos? What does your click-through rate look like if it's coming from search, if you're targeting search? And just making sure that you're understanding those things so that you can see like, okay, these videos that are doing just a little bit better on my channel, people are responding to these just a little bit more through these particular things. So therefore, I'm starting to be able to see that, on home pages and things and suggested videos, when I'm publishing content, I'm able to see like, hey, based on the amount of impressions that I get, this video right here isn't doing too bad compared to my other videos. And you start to recognize that over time. So it's really important that now, as your channel's starting to grow, if you're somebody that's getting started, that now you go in and you start paying attention to these things. So as you start having videos do better than others, then you can start looking to see what the metrics look like based on, because they're like a mirror, right? They're like a mirror of how people are responding to what it is that you're doing. So you use those, those analytics that YouTube gives us to be able to see, that reflection of how people are responding. So you can start to put some logic into it and start thinking to yourself like, okay, they clicked on this one more, way more, compared to the amount of impressions that I got on home pages. Why do I think that is? What is different from this thumbnail compared to my other videos that got, 100 less views on them? If you're, let's say you're getting like 500 views a video right now, if you're getting, or let's say you're getting 100 views, then, what do my metrics look like in my videos that are getting 10 views compared to my videos that are getting 100 views? And then by doing that, you'll slowly start to see the picture in terms of, okay, if I can just do better here, then I'll start having a lot of people, click on my videos more. If I can start making better thumbnails, here, and you'll be able to start actually over time. And this is where making content on a regular basis comes into play. Over time, you'll be able to see, okay, when I publish a video, typically on my channel, once I reach a certain amount of impressions, my click-through rate typically looks like this. My average view duration typically looks like this, and so on. So you can start looking for problems. So you can say, hey, it's been 24 hours. My click-through rate is way low compared to what it is that I normally get on home pages, for example. Therefore, I'm going to go in and I'm going to update my thumbnail for the sake of, trying to improve the response that I'm getting. But at the end of the day, one thing that we all have to understand as content creators is we have to make content that people want to watch. We have to package that content in a way that helps people identify it, and it's also compelling enough that will cause somebody to want to click on it as well. So they need to identify it, and then they need to want to click on it. So make sure that you're doing those things. It's kind of a long answer. I'm kind of getting warmed up here. Bear with me. So next up, we got Play Button Gaming. I like how you're seeing the future right there. Looking good. Love it. They do daily content as well. We had 2 in a row daily content. They do gaming content. The goal of the channel is to make quality videos that people will like watching. Okay, you're on the right path. The question is, having trouble sticking to one niche. Help me set my mind at ease. Is there a way to put it into my mindset to have one niche? Absolutely. So when it comes to having one niche, how many people here you just have content that is serving like one type of audience? If that's you, just say me. If you have just like if you have a niche channel, if that's you, let me know. But when it comes to your niche on YouTube, a lot of people think that a niche is basically a limitation on content that I have to make the same videos over and over. That's not the case. When it comes to a niche, hey Brad, what's up, man? Nice to see you in here. When it comes to a niche or, deciding on your niche, it's important to do kind of like a mindset shift, which is perfect because that relates to your question, when it comes to like your definition of what a niche is. So a niche, of course, is, where you are, focusing in on a segment of a particular, type of content. But at the end of the day, what you're really doing is you're focusing in on a particular type of viewer that has a certain set of interests. So because of that, when it comes to your games, One thing to think about, how many gamers do we have in here? If you're a gamer, just say me. But, you know, when it comes to the games that you're playing, one of the things that, you know, you have to think about is, okay, let's say I'm playing racing games. Then in that case, I'm going to go ahead and just experiment with some other racing games as well, because if somebody's playing, you know, one type of, you know, driving game, there's, you know, a likelihood that they're into driving games, and therefore they might be playing other driving games. So then therefore you can like test some of those other games against those people and see if they also respond to some of those. But the idea is thinking of it from the perspective of whatever type of content I make on my channel, it needs to be a good fit for this particular type of audience. So that's why you'll see, you know, people that have, you know, channels based on teaching people about music. That's why you see people that have entire Fortnite channels. That's why you see people that have entire Call of Duty channels, or just like, you know, first person channels. All of those things are so that they can serve that audience that's into, you know, like that particular thing. And the big win with this is over time, we got a race drifter here. And the thing is with that over time is, as you publish more and more content to your YouTube channel and you're thinking about the audience first when you're publishing your content, what you do is you start building a resource over time of content that a certain type of person can come in and they can watch a bunch of videos on your channel, right? So when it comes to getting that additional watch time, which I think was actually part of the other question, and I'm not sure if we answered that or not. But when it comes to getting that additional watch time, let's go ahead and squeeze it into this one. You know, part of that is just having that channel that's targeted towards a specific type of viewer that has a certain type of interest, so that when they click on one video and YouTube is recommending other things from your channel in the sidebar, or you're recommending at the end of your video for them to watch this next, or you have a pinned comment going into a playlist for that type of content or whatever, the whole thing with that is you start creating a channel that's bingeable, so that, you know, like everybody here, you know, you're a content creator. If you were to go to my videos page right now, almost anything that you click on would have something to do with you, right? It would have something to do with your interest. Now, it starts segmenting there a little bit. It starts segmenting there a little bit in terms of, like, let's say, like in my case, right, I have some content that's for live streaming, some content that's for video editing. So then in that case, if you're making, you know, if you're doing all of your stuff on your phone and you weren't editing videos with software, then in that case, some of those videos wouldn't resonate, but for a larger portion of the audience, they would. So, you know, the idea is just making sure that you're thinking about who it is that you're reaching with the content, more so than a limitation of the type of content that you can make because of the niche. Let's see here. I just got a message from D here, and it sounds like it might be, sounds like my audio might still be having a problem. I'm touching something that caused an occasional click. Oh, interesting. Could be your watch touching the cable. Okay. All right. Yeah. Thanks for the heads up there, D. I appreciate it. So we're halfway there. So next up on our list here, we're going into question number 3. If you're just joining the stream, I want to let you know that we are talking about YouTube related stuff. We're all content creators here. So we're talking about all things related to being a content creator. We're going to be talking about, you know, getting views, getting subscribers. Probably there's going to be some stuff in here about making money. There's going to be some stuff in here about mindset. There's probably going to be some questions in here about burnout, those types of things. But we're talking about, you know, all of the different things that we deal with as content creators today. So our next question is from Colors of Hope Crafts ASMR. Colors of Hope Crafts ASMR says that they do ASMR and fiber art. The goal of the channel is to bring in extra income, and use ASMR to help people relax and learn about fiber art. And the question is, my analytics show that I lose people in the first 30 seconds. What can I do to change that and improve my hook? Should I change my channel name to make it more obvious what my channel is about? Thanks in advance. Changing your channel name isn't going to impact how people respond to the video content itself. What you need to do is you need to experiment with how you're actually starting your videos. So, you know, as content creators, we will kind of get stuck in ruts to where it's like, hey, this is just the way that I do it. This is the way that I see other people do it, so I'm going to do it that way. But what you want to make sure that you're doing when you do see fail points like that is you want to make sure that you are running experiments on new content that you publish. So you're asking, you know, like what you can do with your hooks, just some things to think about. I'm not sure exactly, because you're doing ASMR, but you're doing like fiber art with it, I think is what it is that you're doing. But the thing is like when you are like starting your videos, just some ideas for you is, one, since you're doing ASMR, I guess you're not going to be talking. So because of that, then having, you know, just kind of soft music, you know, playing that just kind of like goes into the thing, which even with that, because you're doing ASMR, it's probably not a great idea. So then that's probably going to come down to, since you are doing ASMR, just, you know, what it is that you're actually, you know, showing there, and the quality of what it is that people are experiencing on the visual side and on the audio side, because ASMR is like a full audio experience. So because of that, you can't kind of, and I'm not saying that you're doing this, but you can't like halfway do ASMR. So you want to make sure that you do have good microphones and all of that, because people are listening to that stuff in headphones like while they're going to sleep. So you want to make sure that, you know, that they are getting a high quality audio experience, so that you can make sure that you're giving them what it is that they're, you know, that they're in for. So it could be, if you're losing people that fast on an ASMR video, it could be that they click on it, and then when they click on it and they come into, you know, that particular video, it could be that, you know, the quality, you know, isn't there in terms of the audio quality. It could be that there's other sounds going on that kind of distract them, you know, from it. I'd have to actually experience your content to, you know, really do that. But really in your case, I would just focus all efforts on the quality of the audio. I'd make sure that you're processing your audio, that you're removing any noise, unless it's intentional noise, you know, for the sake of, you know, creating like a little, you know, like sound bed of sorts. So with that, those are things that I would do first to make sure that the experience that they are getting is a high quality experience. Next up on the list, thanks Chantel, I appreciate it.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Next up, we've got That's English School. That's English School says that they do, man, this display issue. Man, always something. Let's see here. Let's see how I can do this. Let's just pop this out individually here. D says ASMR is very specific. People will dig. Here, let me just put it up here on screen. I just scrolled past it. Says ASMR is very specific. People will do what you're doing or dig what you're doing or immediately click off based on their personal tastes. So let me just pop this one out completely. Let's see if that'll do it. There we go. Okay, it's an educational channel. The goal of the channel is to teach English to Japanese people, promote our school, and make some videos. Come on. So here, make some videos and some side income. Oh, and make some side income in the process. The question, hey, Nick, quick question about YouTube Shorts. In your opinion, do we need to make custom thumbnails or just go with the one of the choices that are automatically generated by YouTube? Thanks as always. If people can enjoy your shorts on a computer, then in that case, make a thumbnail for it. If it's something to where like it's just like super short, it's only going to give them a good experience if they're like watching it quickly on a mobile device, then don't worry about it. But the difference is when you make like an actual thumbnail, then that can increase your chances of getting, you know, clicks from home pages and, you know, anywhere else that they'll show up. But, you know, shorts do show up places like shorts are showing up in like search sometimes. So because of that, you know, if you want to increase that chance of somebody actually clicking on it, then in that case, you know, you might want to add a thumbnail to it. So a lot of people are not adding thumbnails to shorts just out of, you know, like laziness or whatever, or they just don't want to take that extra step, or it's only appropriate, you know, as a short. But if you are like, hey, I'm just trying to get as many people into this as I possibly can, then I would make a thumbnail for it just for the sake of, you know, coming up on, like when you do show up on home pages, things like that, then it looks like a normal piece of video content. Let's see here. So, really quick, hot mess history with T said what she said. T said what T said. Says, hey Nick, I had 85,000 subscribers in the past. Let's see here. This past Saturday night, I'm earning 5 figures a month in ad revenue for the second month in a row. Thanks for explaining the research tab to me. High five and fist bump to you. Nice work on that. You're just crushing. You are just crushing. Absolutely crushing. Love, love, love seeing that. Thank you for keeping us updated too. Like it's awesome. Like from, you know, from this view, it's awesome, you know, just kind of watching the progress and seeing you like keep jumping in like, hey, you know, 55,000, 60,000, 65,000, 70,000, 75,000, you know, now you're at 85. So you're like right on the cusp of a play button. Congratulations to you. It's a lot of hard work. You know, like I know that, you know, you've put in tons of time into this. You put in tons of effort, tons of thought, tons of energy. So it's awesome to see it, you know, paying off for you, because it's not, you know, getting a play button. It's not an easy feat. So congratulations to you. Like you're not there yet, but you're on the way. You're going to get one. It's in your future. So let's see here. So next up on our list here, we've got looks into swirl resin tumblers. Cindy says that, let's see here, 1 time per week or more. The type of channel is a art channel where I make resin tumblers. And let me scroll down here really quick. The goal is to show folks my experiments with resin and grow my channel. The question is, I recently hit 10,000 subscribers, which opens stories from me, but I don't really know what it is. What do you do with that option, or how will it grow my channel? Can you explain the best use of stories, please? Okay, this is a great question. So when it comes to YouTube stories, first off, YouTube put out some information. YouTube put out some information in the past saying that people that use stories on a regular basis get a higher amount of people subscribing to their YouTube channels. So they absolutely do convert, viewers into subscribers. So in your case, what you'd want to do is you'd want to do stories. If you decide to use them, you'd want to do stories to where you're just showing like behind the scenes stuff. Maybe you're talking about the specific things that you're using, within your Tumblr making. Maybe you're hyping up a video that's going to be coming next. Maybe you're making a story letting people know that, hey, I made this video like a couple of weeks ago. I've had some people, asking me about the materials. These are the materials that I made about it, and this is the video if you want to go check it out. And then within that also, within the stories, you also have the option to link a video. You can't do it with every story, but you do have the option to link videos and stories as well, to where you can also use that as like a doorway going back into your YouTube channel, which is pretty cool. So when it comes to the stories, you can use it as a way to just make a quick connection, with people. But, stories get seen by people that are subscribed to your channel and people that are not. So you can also use it as a way to get people to subscribe as well. But typically, stories will come down to people using them just for that, more personal connection, showing stuff behind the scenes, things like that. Let's see here. Next up on the list, we're on number 7 now. So we're just cruising through these. We got $2 beats in the house. Where's my $2? So I can't remember the movie, but there's this movie, $2 beats. I don't know, what your age range is here. But for you, older folks in the house, you'll remember this one probably. But there was a movie where this kid would chase this dude all through the movie trying to get this like $2 for a newspaper that he delivered or for this like newspaper subscription. And as soon as I saw your name in the chat earlier, that it made me think about that for some reason. But anyway, the type of channel is music and beats. The goal of the channel is to sell beats. Question: I'm trying to sell my beats as cheap as possible so people who perhaps cannot afford it can get them cheap. Should I just keep linking BeatStars, or would funnels and perhaps my own website be a better option? Thank you, Nick, for your advice is awesome. I'm locked out of my JRP Music official channel. Oh, that's you. Okay. Due to a 2-step authentication. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. So in terms of linking to BeatStars or, creating like funnels, driving people into things and all that, right now, I would be trying to get people over to BeatStars just because they have their own marketplace. So then you can tap into their marketplace itself, right? Once you start, getting, activity or more activity on your videos and you start getting consistent views, things like that, that's where you might want to start considering like, hey, I'm going to have my BeatStars store available. But I'm also going to start, trying to, maybe drive people into like email lists and things like that so I can keep them updated with any, new beats that I put out and that sort of thing. And as part of that sequence that you would set up, then you could start sending people into your BeatStars from that. So, it's kind of like, hey, get 5 free beats, sign up for my email, that type of thing. And then when they sign up for that, then that puts them into your system, whatever it is that you, use. If you use Aweber for it or ActiveCampaign, whatever, keep in mind these things come at a price. That's why it's important to make sure that you are, selling the beats, one, that you're actually making sales, and that you are, if you are running ads on your channel, for example, that you do have that money to reinvest back into your project. But the idea is to either send them just to BeatStars so that you can also, just tap into their marketplace right now. And then once you start getting a decent amount of activity on your videos, if you're not already, if you're already getting good activity, then you can go ahead and put this together now, but basically set up an email service, create an offer for the viewers and let them know that, they can go download, whatever it is that you're going to be giving them in exchange for their email address, and be very transparent. Once you sign up for this thing, then, just as a heads up, anytime I publish new beats, I'm going to let you know about it, let you know where to get them, things like that. And you can also do cool things as well in terms of like occasionally, sending out like, hey, we're also going to be sending out like a free beat like once a month or once every couple of months, or, whatever your approach is in terms of just, trying to keep that interaction going with the people that are signing up for your list. Techers UK, what's up? Hope you're doing awesome.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Next up on our list here, we've got Cindy again, and this is probably because I had mentioned that I had taken the questions out, but let me just double check here really quick. Okay, yeah, we got that one covered. So here, next up on our list here, we've got, so we're number 9, entertainment things. It says they upload 1 time per week or more on a PC. They do entertainment content. The goal is to get at least 50 to 100,000 views. And the question, should I do shout out videos? Nah, like shout out videos don't really do much. Like, you got to think when it comes to the content that people are watching on your YouTube channel, like people are coming to your channel or they're clicking on your videos to get some type of value in return. Just like a thing, being like, oh, hey, just want to give a shout out to like such and such and like that type of thing. Yeah, don't even worry about doing that type of thing. Focus on the things that are actually going to add value, right? Because, doing those types of things, they're more gimmicky than anything. So focus on, doing the things that are going to add value, that'll keep people coming back to your channel on a regular basis, because that's an important thing to YouTube as well. And that, and keep thinking of it from the perspective of, if somebody came in and they watched the last video that I publish, like what's something that I can make next that would really add a lot of value to those people that watch that particular video, right? So instead of just wasting it with like, update videos and shout out videos and like that kind of stuff, like give them actual content that they can come and enjoy that, that you might have some people subscribe to and, things like that. Good question though. So here, next up on our list, we're on number 10 already. We're just like, pew, we're cruising on these. So next up, we've got cryptocurrency. Clever. See what you're doing there? Cryptocurrency says they upload when they have time. Let me snap this back into here, see if it fixes this or not. That's an interesting display thing. So basically the type of channels, they do crypto education, crypto games recently. The goal of the channel is to reach 25,000 subscribers by the end of 2022. I also want to improve my communications and social presence for future opportunities. The question: I got monetized in my first few months of uploading basic cryptocurrency educational videos. I feel like when crypto isn't a hot topic, my views go down significantly. I'm thinking of doing vlogs or different types of content, but it will be very different from all of my other videos. Should I keep experimenting on different content styles or double down on my upload frequency? I would double down on what it is that you're actually doing more than I would double down on your upload frequency. So when it comes to like if you're trying to reach 25,000 subscribers by the end of 2022, in my opinion, if you are wanting to have a crypto channel and you're wanting to do it that way, I wouldn't start doing just like random vlogs like, hey, here we are going to the mall and here we are going and doing like these things, unless they're directly related to crypto and the things that are going on in the crypto world. So the reason for that is because right now you have people that have responded well to your channel. Of course, when things are up, then, there's tons of activity around it. When things are down, then there's not as much activity because people are selling off and, things like that, and they're not holding. But when you are, when you start going into a completely different type of content, then you can really start alienating, viewers, because then you're the crypto guy or a crypto person that just, started making vlogs all of a sudden. So people start unsubscribing, things like that, unless you make it about, crypto related things. So when it comes to like a total pivot like that, one thing to make sure that you are thinking about is when you are thinking of like the long-term sustainability of a YouTube channel, it's really important to make sure that you are thinking like, okay, like what is it I'm going to be doing with this long-term, and that you commit to it, because sometimes it can take a while. We have, from time to time, Mike stops by his YouTube channel's Hybrid Steel. He might even be in here right now. I just haven't seen it yet, but he has been, just going for it for, quite some time. And he's stayed in the gaming space. He's, stayed true to, what it is that he's wanted to do with the channel. And it took a while to like, get it going. But now he's getting, like 1,000 subscribers like every week. And like his channel's like really growing, quickly now. So, when it comes to your YouTube channel and the long-term sustainability side of it, you want to make sure that you are just committing to something so that you can turn your channel into that resource that we were talking about earlier, if you were here for that, to where it becomes like a resource for a certain type of content. So if you wanted to switch and do something completely different and do that long-term, that's totally cool. That's what Neil did. And we were talking about that early. Right now, there's somebody in the chat, Urban Van Life. His name is Neil. And he was doing just, all crypto content. And then he ended up switching everything and started a whole new channel and ended up, talking about van life, started a whole business around, remaking vans for people and things like that. And he's thriving now. Like everything's going awesome. So when it comes to, like making that call, it really comes down to just thinking like, do I want to be that crypto person, or do I want to be that vlogger, or do I want to be, somebody that does, X, Y, Z, and then just making the call and committing to it so that you can, give yourself the shot at actually, doing that thing. Because, with anything, like if it's going up and then it starts going down a little bit and you're like, okay, well now I'm just going to, jump ship, then, at that moment in time, it's going to be really hard to do anything consistently. So because of that, I would just try to just think, just build out a plan and say, when it's up, it's going to be up and it's going to be great. But when it's down, if historically, if my channel doesn't perform as well when it's down, Then in that case, one, I need to really start thinking about the topics that I'm talking about. And I really need to start thinking about how I'm grabbing people's attention and things like that to pull them into what it is that I'm doing. So for example, even though it's down, there's other crypto channels, I guarantee you, that even though that the, general interest might not be as high because it's not, peaking out right now, there's still, other crypto channels that are thriving right now and that are able to capture viewers based on the topics that they're coming up with and pull them back in and still keep them talking about crypto. Because even though it's down, there's still a ton of people that are, still super interested in crypto. So because of that, I wouldn't even blame it on it being down outside of, it just not being a thing that's like, trending to where people are talking to their moms about it. Like, hey, hey mom, hey, you got any crypto? You know what I mean? Cause that's what's happened. That's what happens, when it's up, like, hey, you get in now before it, goes to the moon and like all this stuff. But like when it's down, then, the conversation just isn't there. So, you might just need to be the person that's creating that conversation. Let's see here. So next up on our list, we've got, let's see here. Let me go ahead and show that. There we go. So next up, we've got, what is this one here? We got Buff Bass Outdoors, Buff Bass, Buff Bass, all about that Buff Bass. Got to be careful, like humming that, I guess. Let's see here. So let me go full screen with this, see if I can get down to it from this way. So next up, we've got this one that does 1 time per week or more on the upload. They've been on YouTube for less than 6 months. They do fishing and outdoors content. The goal of the channel says, I want to build a community of people that are passionate about fishing and make an impact on people's lives. Question. Hey, Nick, I was wondering if uploading shorts and long form content on the same channel can hurt the channel. I uploaded a short and got 18,000 views on it, and I only have 85 subscribers. Can this hurt my channel if my shorts are relevant to my content? As long as they're relevant, you'll be fine. But, just pay close attention in your shorts analytics now that we have that, now that they've separated, just to, make sure that, people are continuing to respond well to your shorts, learn how to make better shorts if you're going to be doing it, like learn how to make them better. But while you're doing that, also learn how to, make the better long form content if the long form content is something that you want to do. Just a heads up. Some people have nothing but shorts channels to where all they make is shorts and they do awesome. Some people have, mixed channels and they do awesome. Some people have channels where it's just all long form video content. They do awesome. Some people have channels where all they do is live streaming and they do awesome. So, like the opportunity is there. It's just figuring out what it is that you want to do. So one thing that I recommend to you is if you are coming onto this and like the goal, part of this is like monetization, for example, not just YouTube monetization, but like, hey, I'm going to be, promoting things as an affiliate and things like that. Then in that case, I would learn to do the long form content side of things so that you can just increase your chances of showing up in search, increase your chances of people, consuming a longer video to where they get a better understanding of what it is that you're doing. So then they're more, if you do reviews of, outdoor related things and stuff like that, so that you can, increase your chances of possibly having, somebody, click on links in your description and, you get a sale from those and, or a commission from those and things like that. So, so because of that, I would, I would first, before you're like, hey, doing this and only thinking about subscribers and views, I would sit back for a second and I would think like, okay, what is it that I'm really wanting to do here on my channel? And which one of these, would help me do it the best? And how, if I want to do the other one, how can I use that other one to like either supplement the viewership or to reach new audiences or whatever to, pull some of those people, into the channel? Because, without a question, when, you're publishing videos, you have to get longer form videos. You have to get people to click on what it is that you're doing, which is a huge hurdle for a lot of people. But when you're doing shorts, then you just have to be good at the video side. So, because of that, I would definitely, experiment with both while working on skills to get better at both. RC Trails says, how long, thank you for the super chat. Says, how long should I wait before changing / testing a new title and thumbnail after uploading a new video? So this first step of this is understanding how your videos typically perform. So if you start to go through all of your content, you start to look at, after certain time limits, like, okay, after the first 3 hours, then, typically on the videos on my channel that do better than the other videos, they typically have a click-through rate of about XYZ compared to X amount of impressions coming from home pages. So then at that point in time, if you're targeting home pages at that moment in time, you can say, okay, we are at that 3-day mark, or, we're just, it's been like a few hours since, upload, whatever. And, typically when I have this many impressions, my click-through rate is way better. And right now, since it's not, then in that case, you know, I'm going to just go ahead and change it, because historically on my channel, my videos that typically do well, or my videos just when I publish them, you know, my click-through rate is at least this. So because of that, if you do notice that it's, you know, low in a particular traffic source that you're targeting, then in that case, you'd want to make that update, like once you notice that you're coming in extremely low. Let's see here. Next up on our list, it's a good question. We got Just Notified. Just Notified says, let's see here. Let me go full screen with this. Definitely not as fluid. So let's see here. So the type of channel is financial independence. The goal of the channel is inspiration for better quality of life. Super cool. If there's an immediate flat line following a sharp push of impressions, can the video have another big push, or is it done? My last videos, after a heavy push with decent stats, 12% CTR, 60% retention, 6-minute average watch time. Last videos after a heavy push with decent stats. Okay, so if it just completely flatlines, I mean, you know, it can, like, here's the thing. With any video on YouTube, it can start picking up at any moment in time. YouTube can test it against a particular audience they think is going to be a good candidate for it. If that audience starts responding, then a video can just take off out of nowhere. You'll hear people talk about that all the time. However, if you put out a video and, you know, the impressions that you're getting on it, even though you have a 12% click-through rate, I'm not sure how many impressions you got. That information would have been great. But like, you know, like a 12% CTR might seem good. And it is, you know, good, but if you have, you know, 100 impressions, then a 12% CTR, you know, isn't that fantastic. Same exact thing with the retention, you know, and all of that, because, you know, like as you get more activity, more impressions and all of that, it becomes increasingly more difficult to maintain those higher numbers. But the amount of impressions that you have on this would be a huge factor on, you know, if this is actually good or not. But one thing that you want to do is if you do see it, you know, flatline like that, I would go in and I would change things up. So I would, like, you know, like if I just completely flatlined and I was flatlined for, you know, a little bit of time, let's say like a 48 or 24-hour period, then in that case, I would go in, I would update my title, update my description, just a little bit. I would update my thumbnail, and hopefully YouTube will show it to, you know, more people to test out those changes so that you can hopefully get people to, you know, to respond better to it. Lee's Monique Funk, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Those are always appreciated. Thank you very much. So let's see here. So next up on the list here, we're on number 13 already. So we're cruising right through these. So just as a heads up, if you're just joining the stream right now, we are talking about YouTube and YouTube related things, all things related to being a content creator. This entire stream is driven by the questions that are asked. I have a form in the description where people are putting their questions into, and we're just answering them in the order that they come in. Right now, we don't have a ton of questions still. We should be able to get through, you know, all of the ones that are here on this list right now. So if you have a question, go ahead and get it in there, and, you know, and there's a really good chance that we'll be able to get it answered here on the stream today. That's probably only going to work for the next probably like 30 minutes or so. So if you are hanging out in the stream right now, if you want your question answered, then I would get it in there right now, so that we can make sure that, you know, that we can hopefully get to it on the stream today, because we're already 13 in. So we'll definitely be able to get through the list that's in there right now as you know, as I'm saying this. So let's see here. So next up, we've got All Terrain Action says that they upload when they have time. The type of channel is an adventure and camping channel. And let me grab this and slide it down. And the goal of the channel is to show you a camp and a 4-wheel drive with a budget using highly underrated vehicles. That sounds super fun. The question, how important is social media when it comes to the value of a YouTube channel's discovery and growth? You can completely blow up a YouTube channel and not have any other social channels at all. So in terms of the importance of it, so here's just some things to think about. So when it comes to the other social media platforms, if you are having trouble growing on YouTube, you're probably gonna have trouble growing on Twitter too. If you're having trouble growing on YouTube and Twitter, you're probably gonna have trouble growing on some of the other things also. So because of that, when it comes to driving people to your YouTube channel, one of the things that that is really important to make sure that you keep in mind as a content creator is you need to be able to get the activity on YouTube, right? So a lot of people will lean on trying to grow their YouTube channel by having like a Twitter account or even a TikTok account, and they'll start doing well on TikTok, but then they'll still keep having trouble, on YouTube. And they try, in all their videos trying to get people over to YouTube, and some people will trickle over. But the thing to think about is, like, if somebody's on TikTok, they're on TikTok because they want to be on TikTok. So they got to really be into your stuff to want to leave TikTok and go follow you on YouTube. And I'm sure, people in here have too. I followed like a nice amount of people from, on YouTube from TikTok because I'm on YouTube more than I'm on TikTok. So because of that, I have followed people, here that are over there. However, if you can get people to respond well on YouTube, just like, if you get people to respond well on TikTok, TikTok's going to show you to more people. YouTube's the same exact way. The main difference is that, over there, you don't have to actually get people to click. You just have to make good video content, and that's it. Here, you also have to learn how to get people to click unless you're trying to use YouTube Shorts as the way to, bring attention to what it is that you're doing. So because of that, it's just important to know that you do not need other social media accounts, but they are convenient to have. And they're valuable as well, because if as you're growing your YouTube channel, you're also growing some of these other social media platforms, when you get to the point in your social media career, so to speak, where you are going to start working with sponsors and things like that, when you also have a following on Twitter, you also have a following on Instagram, you also have a following on TikTok, then those are more assets that you have that you can leverage when it comes to the deals that you're putting together if you start working with sponsors. So because of that, having those other things in place are great for that. They're also great when it comes to just interaction. So for example, I'm really active on Twitter. I go onto Twitter almost every day. I'm active on Reddit as well. But on Reddit, it's not like, everything else where you get like followers and stuff. I mean, you can technically, but that's not like the push there. But on Twitter, I use that as a way to just interact with people. So, like people will share the stream out. So when they share the stream out, then I'll be on Twitter later, either later tonight after the stream or tomorrow, when I get on my phone, I'll be in there, thanking people for sharing the stream, stuff like that. I have people, shoot me DMs. I'll, talk to people or answer questions in DMs sometimes. Sometimes people will just have a question that somebody else is posting, like, hey, this person's having this problem. Maybe, Nick will know something about it. And then, I'll be able to go and reply that way. So it's a great tool. Twitter is a great tool for that additional interaction with, the people that are into, the type of content that you make, or your content, in general. So because of that, I do encourage you to have those other social media outlets. And if you are trying to build a brand online, if you do have a name, like in your case, All Terrain Action, I would try to get All Terrain Action on Twitter. I would try to get it on TikTok. I would get the URL here on YouTube. I would secure that everywhere that you think that you could possibly upload to in the future, for the sake of just making sure that you have it for the sake of the brand. And then if you decide to, then you can, start using any of those platforms at any time that you want to. But in terms of them being a requirement or necessary, absolutely not. They're just kind of like icing on the cake to help you communicate more with your community, or in some cases to just repurpose some of the YouTube content or something like that. Great point right here. Genealogy with Amy Johnson Crow says it's also important to think about where your target audience is hanging out. Absolutely, without question. So, if you do find that like a majority of the people that you're trying to reach are on Facebook, then, creating a Facebook page, trying to reach them there, uploading native content to Facebook as well is definitely something that you would want to do in that case. Or anything, anywhere, TikTok, based on, whatever. But, thinking about where they're at. Thanks for that addition, Amy. I appreciate it. Next up on our list here, we've got Tara with Ruby. What's up, Ruby? Hope you're doing awesome. Let's see here. Let me snap this into here so I can go full screen with it. What a weird issue this is. So let's see here. I'm not saying your question. I'm just saying like the tech thing that I'm running into here. Hold on, really quick. Let me copy this. Let me just paste it into here and see if this will do it this way. Still not doing it. Yeah, so I'm just having this weird display problem when it comes to actually scrolling down the screen for some weird reason. Tested everything else. Everything else worked fine. But now the computer's like, oh, hey, we got a new one for you. Let's see you troubleshoot this one while you're live. So the type of channel is tarot chats and tarot readings. The goal of the channel is to offer insights through my readings and make reading the tarot accessible and easy for everybody. The question: I want to do more live streams, but I'm struggling to shape them into something that will add actual value to my viewers after the stream. I was thinking of doing live tarot readings for viewers, but that doesn't add value after the live, besides potentially creating fear of missing out for those who missed it. maybe I could combine them with readings for the collective at the start of the stream that I can unlist and then edit into a valuable video. Another idea is live unboxings of new decks. I've also been thinking of multi-streaming to Twitch and YouTube to broaden my audience while without keeping anything from my existing YouTube audience. What do you think is the best way to go about live streams with my channel topic and still add value after the live? Thanks so much. So this is a really good question. So first off, how many people here are live streamers? Just because this is going to add value to, to everybody that's live streaming. So how many people here are live streamers? If you're a live streamer, just say me. But when it comes to deciding, the value that you're going to add through your stream, I know exactly what you're talking about in terms of like the replay, right? Because here, this is one of those situations as well to where I'm answering all these questions. They relate to a lot of people. However, it's still something to where on the replay, you might feel that you're kind of, missing out on like the vibe of, what it is that we going on here. Cause the chat's moving, we got, conversations going on, in the chat and stuff like that. And, people can definitely get that FOMO. So if you are watching this and you have that FOMO, join us at 9 a.m. Eastern or 9, 10, 11, 12, 9, 10, 11 Eastern, all the way up till like 11 or 12. Here next Saturday. But anyway, when it comes to the replay though, I think the idea that you have in terms of making like a general reading at the front and then cutting off the end stuff would be great. Another thing you can do is you can do that live stream. You can either record it locally. If you use something like StreamYard, they'll record it for you in their cloud. Or, based on your computer specs and all that, you might be able to record it directly to your computer. And then you can actually just unlist the live stream and then you can just cut up some of the content that would add value and then republish that as a new video to your channel. You could definitely do it that way. Doing the unboxings, things like that, I think that's a really good call on the video content side of things. But another thing I would do is I would experiment, because you might find that when you do leave it listed that people do come in and they do watch it just because they want to, they're interested in the reading side of things, even if it doesn't necessarily relate to them. So I would experiment with putting a few out if you haven't already, just for the sake of seeing if people do respond to them. But if they don't, then in that case, then I would go in and I would either, repurpose some of the content in terms of making it unlisted and then putting out a fresh video, or just cut out highlights of it. Or just kind of front load the content that would be good for the general audience on the replay, and then, cut everything off at the end and then just leave it that way. So I think the approach that you're taking and the view that you're seeing it with, I think all of that is, I think you're on the right path there. But I would definitely, experiment. I would definitely experiment there. So really quick, we had some super chats come in. I'm going to address really quick before we hop into the next questions here. So I just want to make sure I got everybody covered. Man, I haven't scrolled things here too. What is going on? Okay, let me do this. I wonder if I just, there we go. I'm okay. I think I found a workaround here. So no matter how far I'm, okay, here we go. Okay, now let's open this. Oops.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend.
Yeah, that works.
Now.
Okay. So I think I might have just fixed that problem I was having. Okay, so the first thing really quick here from Lost Curry, thank you for the super chat. It says, when live streaming on your main channel, do you recommend unlisting live, or can you keep it up without hurting the channel? Live streaming 2 times per week. So if you are getting a good response from your live streams in terms of, people are coming in, they're interacting with them, you're staying on topic based on the things that you talk about in your channel, you structure your live stream in a way to where it is good on the replay. In terms of, you don't have a bunch of like space filling things that would make somebody be like, oh, I don't even know what's going on here, or, this is getting really slow to get into it. You have like countdown timers, things like that. Then in that case, you want to unlist it, or restructure how it is that you're doing your live stream. If you leave it on your channel though, it's fine as long as people, responded to it. But even if they don't respond to it like directly, it's still not going to negatively impact like the last video that you published. It's just people will stop responding to your live streams. At least people that are coming into them and not enjoying the replay, they'll just stop responding to them when they show them. So you can see my channel is a good example of this. So I leave mine up. I've experimented back and forth several times throughout the years in terms of leaving them listed, leaving them unlisted, and I haven't found one difference in either, I haven't seen a gain or a loss, even small, in either direction anytime I've experimented with that. So, as long as you are consistent in the value that you're providing through your video content and your live streams, you should be fine leaving them up. But one thing that I do recommend is if you look at my YouTube channel page right now, your YouTube channel page is basically where, like if somebody's enjoying your content, like if you're watching this right now, you can click on my channel name, and then it'll land you on my channel page. So one thing that I do there is I have a custom playlist. Instead of just my default uploads playlist, I have a custom playlist at the top that says, like Nick Nimmin's recent videos or something like that. And the reason that I have that custom playlist is so I can exclude my live streams from that playlist. So for the people that land on my channel page on a mobile device, the first content they see is only content that they can get the value from the fastest, the fastest, and it's also low commitment content. It's not 3 hours. It's, like 5 to 10 minute, maybe 15 in some cases, content that they see there. So I would definitely do that for the sake of, that user experience. But in terms of it hurting the channel, you'll be fine as long as people, respond to the content. But just keep in mind, if people, they have a really high response to your video content, in some cases they can also, you can get a lot of views on live streams on the replay, but you just have to make sure that you are, structuring things in the right way. You got to make sure that you are, titling things and adding a thumbnail in the right way. So a lot of people, when it comes to live streams, they'll just use templates. As a matter of fact, I got lazy in this thumbnail and I used the same, thing that I used the last stream, but I have been changing my thumbnails up, from time to time in the streams to see if I can find one that you guys respond to more than the others. But the idea is that, you do need to work on, that side of things and deciding okay, am I doing this live stream for the purpose? And this is another really important part of this is understanding why it is that you're live streaming. So if you are live streaming for the purpose of, creating that connection with the people that are interacting with your content, then it doesn't matter if it ends up doing great, long-term for that live stream, as long as you're making that connection, because that's the purpose of the content. Whereas if you're live streaming for the sake of growing your YouTube channel, then you have to take a different approach to that to make sure that it is, that they do have direct value, that you're hooking people, things like that on the replay, so that you're structuring your stream so that when they do come in on the replay, you have all those things in place, just like it was a piece of video content, so that somebody's more likely to continue watching that replay. So hopefully that makes sense. Next up, we've got Real Ken Fu. Thanks for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Science-Based Fitness. What's up, man? Nice to see you here. Says, did you see Nate from Channel Maker's video on mental health? It was great, and I wanted to know what's your thoughts on the mental health side of YouTube. So yeah, this has actually come up a few times recently. I did see Nate's video, and it's unfortunate that Nate is going through that right now. And it's unfortunate that it went to the extremes that it did. But in his defense, that is part of the gig. In terms of there's a lot of content creators who do go through massive burnout. Some will end up going through depression. Some will go through all kinds of things emotionally, based on the requirement that is based on what you have to do here to be a successful content creator. So when it comes to the mental health side of YouTube, or just being a content creator, when you first get started, everything, you're just on fire because you're super excited about everything it is that you're doing. It's like a new experience. You're just exploding with video ideas, and you're learning how to make everything better. So you're just constantly seeing these improvements and all this. But then you hit a certain point to where all of a sudden it's okay, it's not new anymore. It's just what I do now. So then that kind of new polish kind of wears off. It's still, it's still cool and it's still exciting and you still can enjoy doing it, but it's just that new thing kind of, wears off a little bit. So that takes off just a little bit of the shine. And then you start having the pressure as your channel starts doing better. You start having the pressure of okay, now I got to make sure that I'm, consistently uploading, or I'm at least uploading enough to, keep people engaged and all that. So then you start rubbing off a little bit more of that shine, because then you start feeling some of that pressure that comes with that growth that, that happens on the other side. And then as a part of all of those things, you also have, we were actually talking about this in the membership group last night, but basically you also have another side of things, which is, you're doing YouTube, plus you're doing, some of you are in school, some of you have jobs that you have to show up to, and, you spend a lot of the energy, in your daytime, to where, you go to school and you go to job and you're using up all, a lot of that brain power, and then you come home. And, your brain is oh, sweet, let's just relax. And you're sorry, brain, we got work to do. And then, you kind of double task, and, you're kind of, pulling the night owl thing, and you're, making sure that you're getting the content out. Over time, that can take its toll. In some cases, it's required for a period of time, but it can definitely take its toll. And when you don't give yourself that break or the break that you need, then, then it can really start, jumping on your back and really start taking you down. I went through burnout a couple times myself as well, on my YouTube channel. And, sometimes you just have to just make that call in terms of like, okay, you know what, I'm just going to upload less, or I'm going to, take I'm going to start, trying to optimize how I'm doing things for the sake of making sure that I'm not spending, every waking moment, trying to do the thing and those types of things in order to try to give yourself balance. Because, when it comes to doing all this stuff, a lot of times content creators will just go all in, especially once it gets to the point where you're making enough money from like ad revenue and other ways that you're monetizing on YouTube, to where it's like, hey, I'm going all in on this. And then, one of the things that you might not be prepared for is, when you have a job and you show up to that job at a certain time, you can clock out and you don't have to think about that job anymore unless you have a horrible job and they're trying to like contact you all the time and get you to do extra stuff. But, there comes a certain time in the day to where you can just mentally clock out. And it's like, hey, I don't have to think about that anymore. I can go home, hang out with my family and things like that. Some people are really good at that, regardless of what it is that they do. They have that moment in time to where they mentally clock out from their job. However, a problem with being a content creator and, just being, like an entrepreneurial minded person is that you don't ever really get the opportunity to clock out, in some cases, depending on your personality. So if you have one of those personalities to where you never get to clock out, that means that you're sitting there watching a movie. And you're watching that movie and you see something in the movie and you're like, oh man, that's a really good idea. I should make a video about that. Or I should, and it starts, kind of cranking off all these thoughts to where like all of a sudden you go into work mode again when you're just sitting there trying to enjoy a movie. Or you see like this design, you're out in the world and you see this like advertisement somewhere and you're like, man, that would look awesome as a thumbnail. And then, you're taking pictures of it and doing all that and you're interrupting that moment for the thought of, of your, work related stuff. So, it can really start, being intrusive, into your life, so to speak, if you don't, keep a handle on it, or if you just don't have the personality type that allows you to keep a handle on it, and therefore you're constantly thinking about, work-related stuff. So when it comes to the mental health side of things, it's no joke. And it's really important for, everybody as content creators to make sure that you are giving yourself the space that you need in order to do the thing that you want to do, because sustainability is a huge thing on YouTube. Like if you want to do this for, a decent period of time successfully, then, you have to make sure that you are pacing yourself. I was given that advice. I didn't take it. And I ended up going through, similar things that Nate went through. And, because of that, it's like, you have to build that sustainability into the whole project, because if you don't, you'll end up in that situation. Great question though, and I'm glad that you brought it up. Thank you. So let's see here. So next up on our list here, we have. Cool, I got the scroll working now. We've got embroidery, sewing, and quilting is the channel name. They upload one time per week or more. They've been on YouTube for 1 year or more. It's a craft and how-to channel. The goal of the channel is to gain subscribers and someday get 4,000 watch hours. The question is, when you look at your stats, how long does it take to open the section when your viewers are online? Mine always say not enough data. Yeah, mine's there like, always. So if you're still trying to get 4,000 hours of watch time, YouTube just might not have enough data yet to give you any like really, really solid, accurate information there. Let's see here. Rock Climbing Grandma says, wishes life was not so tiring so I could YouTube more. Yep. A lot, that's a common thing, for a lot of people, and here's the funny thing, right? There's a lot of people that in their brain, they have the idea of like, man, if I could just wake up and just make videos all day, that would be awesome. And it is, right? It is. It's awesome. But, that thing, it can also come at a cost, because then you're thinking about it all day, right? And then it, takes the, that energy that it takes can, detract from some of the energy that you're giving other things. So it's really important to make sure that as you are, progressing on this journey, maintain your hobbies, maintain your relationships, maintain those things, and make sure that you are, putting that priority on those things. So really quick, Colors of Hope.
Welcome to the Niminati.
Welcome to the Niminati. Make sure when you get the chance, make sure that you go to niminvip.com. That is our members only Facebook group. If you go there and you fill out the information, it's going to redirect you to our Facebook group. If you fill out that information before the stream is over today, then I can get you in there after the stream is complete, and then we can get you into that group. But you got to go over there and you got to fill out that information so that I can confirm that you're a member before you get in there. And you are, like I see it here, But if you put that in there, then I'll know. Because I basically verify everybody before I let them in. So next up on our list here, we've got, this is Crit Scout YT. I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not, I apologize. They do gaming content. The goal of the channel is trying to grow 500 subs by the end of the year. The question is how to grow as a gaming channel without playing the trendy games. Step one would be to make content that is some of your content that is help content in terms of, you're helping people solve problems in the games, because those types of content, it's easy to see the potential value that somebody might get out of that, which in turn can increase your chance of somebody clicking on it, because then you're literally helping people solve problems within the game. And making that is just one of the things that you do on your channel, so that you use that as a doorway to get people into your channel. And then you also, if you're doing like Let's Plays and stuff, then in that case you can, connect with those people that are already interested in that game. Now that doesn't mean that those people are going to necessarily be interested in watching you play the game. So you got to be really careful, in terms of like, okay, the help content that I'm making, even though it's bringing in viewers, if those people aren't hanging out in my, in my streams when I'm playing the game, or they're not watching my Let's Plays, then in that case, either one, I'm going to double down on that for the sake of growing the channel, or two, I'm just going to stop doing it, and I'm just going to, very slowly grow the Let's Plays, if that is what it is that you're doing on your channel. But the help content, in terms of, making the content that helps people solve problems, is just kind of like a low-hanging fruit. That's like for any type of content, not any, but most types of content, that's just like a really easy way to make content that adds value to people, that will cause them to come in and also cause them to subscribe because of that value that they're getting. Team Lit Gaming.
Welcome to the Niminati.
Welcome to the Niminati. Same with you. Make sure when you get the chance, you go to niminvip.com, redirects you to our Facebook group, fill out all the information on the way in, because that's how I verify that you are a member. If you can do that before the stream is over today, then I will get you in there as soon as the stream is complete today. Grabster, what's up, man? Hope you're doing awesome. Nice to see you in here. It's been a while. Let's see here. There's that. There's that. Take that back. Okay. So next up on our list here, we are on number 17 now. So let's see. We've got CG113 Tamil Gaming, and they do daily content. They've been on making videos for 1 year or more. They have a live Let's Play channel. The goal of the channel is to make money off of gaming content that's fulfilling to both me and the viewers. The question: how to succeed with a new idea niche that hasn't been tried before by anyone else. So you got to put it out there. You got to put it out there and see how people respond to it. So in terms of, how to succeed with it, the very first thing you want to do is you want to give yourself the best possible chance of succeeding by doing a little bit of research to see if doing something similar to what it is that you're doing is something that people are interested in at large around the topic of the games that you're playing. So for example, go into a Facebook group, go into a subreddit or any Discords, anything like that around the game, and start asking questions about, don't tell them exactly what it is that you're doing, but just start asking questions related to the idea that you have, and just try to get a general feel on like, hey, is this something that people would be interested in there? And if so, then that would give you the green light to go ahead and, put it out there, or to go ahead and put it out there anyway. But one of the things when you do those types of things in terms of hopping on Reddit and asking a question or trying to get some feedback there, or Facebook or Discord or wherever it is that you're doing it, is also pay really close attention to the language that people are using when they, give you feedback on that, because you might be able to use some of that language when it comes to crafting your title, if you end up using any words in your thumbnail, when it comes to actually introducing the thing that you are going to be showing them. When you do start getting that feedback, definitely make sure that you are, kind of noting some of the language that they're using as well. Let's see here. I am Grabster, doing fantastic, man. Thank you for that. Team Lit Gaming says, what's up, Nick? It's Tana So Lit. Hey, what's up, dude? Hope you're doing awesome. This is my gaming channel, and it's my birthday. Happy birthday to you. So Dee and I made all these videos about for a Niminati birthday song. We never put it together. Hopefully we will one day. But yeah, super awesome idea, and I would love to play it for you right now, but I can't. So just happy birthday to you. If we can get a happy birthday for him, that would be awesome. Here in the chat right now, if you could just drop a happy birthday for Tana here from Team Lit Gaming. Happy birthday, man. Not sure how old you are, but I wish you a lot more years, however old you are. So next up here on our list, we're on number 18 now. Cruising right through these, we've got the name of the channel is Barbadian261. Barbadian261 says that they do 1 time per week or more is their upload schedule. The type of channel is locks channel transitioning to a plant care channel. I'm not sure what locks are. The goal of the channel says, I love teaching, learning, and the income is a plus. The question, started my YouTube channel back in 2009 or so as a hobby. Over the years, my vids were about lock, journey, and life. I'm not sure what that is. I currently have 19,000 subscribers, and I've transitioned to more plant care. I want to change my channel name, which is basically a combination of where I am, Barbados, and my graduating class number to something else that speaks more to my brand. Most people mispronounce it anyway and say barbarian instead of Barbadian. Is that a good idea, or should I start a whole new channel? So I think a bigger issue that you might have to deal with here is going from one type of content to another type of content. So like, for example, if you are, they raise and lower boats and ships. Okay, thank you for that, Trish. So if you are making content that a certain, crowd would resonate with, and you completely change directions, you can. But one thing that you can end up doing there is you can end up still getting viewership from that other content, and then eventually turning it into confusion to where people, subscribe for one type of content because they are coming in from like your archive. And then, when you publish new content, YouTube starts showing some of it to them and they don't respond. So therefore it hurts your click-through rate. Or they really loved your content. If you happen to be in your thumbnails and they see it's you, then they click on it anyway and they start watching like, hey, this isn't really what I thought it was going to be. And then they end up leaving the video because of that. And they end up unsubscribing, those sorts of things. So I would just make sure that you're just understand. I mean, of course you know that, but pivoting is something you can absolutely do. But in your case, if you have 19,000 subscribers there, if they're active in terms of, they're engaged and, you're continually growing that channel, and you keep people having, people keep coming back to, your channel out of that 19,000 subscribers, then in that particular case, I would consider starting a new channel, or just completely 100% pivot. And as you start having some content that performs well in the plants, content, I would start unlisting some of the content that's bringing in the wrong audience, and do that when you start having some of the plant content start to do better. But keep in mind that transition can be a relatively slow transition because YouTube has a pretty good understanding of who the right people are for your content. That's why you're able to grow your channel to 19,000 subscribers, because they know who to show the content to that's going to be the most likely to respond to it, and they do, and that's how you've been able to grow the channel. So what's going to happen is as you start walking down this new path, then YouTube is going to have to find the audience for that new plant content that you're making. So it can happen, it can happen quickly if like the plant content that you're putting out is like really good and people will start responding to it right away. But as people start responding to that content, I would start unlisting some of the other content so that you can make sure that you're growing the right audience in the new direction. Let's see here. So Simply Lessa. So really quick, Real Kin Fu, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate it. And also Simply Lessa,
Welcome to the Niminati.
make sure when you get the chance, you go to niminvip.com. It's going to redirect you to our members-only Facebook group. Fill out all the information on the way in, and because that's how I verify that you're a member. If you can do that before the stream is over today, then I can go ahead and get you approved and get you in there for the weekend. So next up on our list here, we've got we're on number 19 is the question that we're on. This is from Amy Johnson, Genealogy with Amy Johnson Crow. She uploads 1 time per week or more educational content. The goal of the channel is to show and inspire people to trace their family history and build my business. The question is consistency and thumbnail style important? I'm trying to find something that resonates with my audience, but I can't find a style that consistently works. Effectiveness is way more important. So, the branding side of things, there is an advantage to that in terms of being able to make things look a certain way so people can recognize it. However, the most important thing is effectiveness. So I would look for patterns and things that, in terms of like, these are the colors I'm using, these are the imagery, the types of imagery that I'm focusing on. This is, the structure of the thumbnail itself. And I would start looking for, those things on your higher performing thumbnails. And I would just try to go really hard, so to speak, on just the effectiveness of it, more importantly than the branding. Because at the end of the day, If YouTube is showing your content to them, it doesn't matter if they recognize that it's branded or not, if it's something that they're actually interested in. Now, the branding side can be important. Once people come in, they start watching your videos on a regular basis and they're loving them, then it helps them, identify that it's yours. That's why people will typically put themselves in the thumbnail after a certain period of time, because then it helps people identify like, oh, hey, it's this content creator that I love, so I'm going to go in there and I'm going to watch I'm going to watch this video of theirs. So you might want to consider doing something like that with your thumbnails in terms of putting you in there. Or, you can also do other fun things. Like you can put, just like a little, a little triangle down in the corner to where it just has, like a little logo, a little icon of sorts, in there, something like that, just to help people recognize that it's yours, or even just like a little color triangle. And that's the only thing that you have down there that helps people, recognize that it's yours, but everything else is the normal thumbnail that you do. But effectiveness over branding, always. So like if you are still trying to, get everything to be as effective as possible, don't even worry about the branding side yet. Just focus on like, hey, I need to get people, clicking on these thumbnails. I need to make sure that these thumbnails I'm putting out are effective. And then once you do start like, okay, every time I do a thumbnail like this, people typically respond to it as long as, the topic is solid. Then in that case, then that's where you can start thinking about the branding, because then you have the proof of these are the things people, typically respond to on my channel. So I need to make sure that I'm incorporating some of these if I do things in a branded way. Let's see here. Realkin Fu.
Welcome to the Niminati.
Same with you. Make sure you go to niminvip.com when you get the chance. It's going to redirect you to our Facebook group. Fill out all the information on the way in so that I can verify that you are a member here after the stream today. And I will get you in there once our stream is complete today. Let's see here. Stormy Skyrail Productions says, member for 2 months. Thanks so much for the great information on growing our YouTube channel. We passed 1,000 subscribers this week. High five and fist bump to you. High five and fist bump. We'll do it up here. Congratulations. Do it here too. Congratulations to you for your first 1,000 subscribers. Look, here's the thing. If you've gotten 1,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel, you can get 10,000 subscribers. You can get 100,000 subscribers. Like you have proof of concept, right? Like people are responding to what it is that you're doing. You've been able to cross that milestone. So you can grow your channel. Like you can just keep growing it until you just don't want to do it anymore. So like you have the proof of concept. What it is that you're doing is working. Now you just have to use the information that YouTube is giving you in your analytics to, steer the ship in the right way. And you'll do fine. Congratulations on your first 1,000. So here, next up on the list, number 20. All right, we just came through this threshold here. So number 20, we've got Tiger Gams. Tiger Gams says that they upload when they have time. They're on a PC. The type of channel is a Clipster list in general gaming. The goal of the channel is because I wish I was a popular person. And the question is, why does nobody watch me? So, there's a lot of reasons that people don't watch content creators. Typically, it comes down to you just not having the ability yet to get people to click on your stuff. So that means, designing a thumbnail that is effective for the people that you're trying to reach, writing titles that are compelling for the people that you're trying to reach. That's step one. If you can do that, then you'll have some views coming in initially, and then the next part of that step will be how do people respond to the actual video content. But if nobody's coming into what it is that you're doing, then in that case, you're just not able to get people to click yet. But if you are able to get people to click, you are seeing some activity, then in that case, then it's going to come down to you being able to put together, good video content. The truth that we all have to understand as content creators is that we are only rewarded on all the content that we put out. It doesn't matter what platform it is on what app or what website it is. We are only rewarded by how people respond to what it is that we're doing. That's it. If people don't respond to what it is that we're doing, then our videos won't perform well. If it's based on the topic and they don't respond because of the topic, then we have to learn from that. If it's based on how we're packaging it up in terms of the topic title and the thumbnail, then, if people aren't responding to that, then we have to learn from that. We have to try to make it better. If people aren't responding at the video content level, then we have to learn from that. This is why YouTube gives us our YouTube analytics, right? Because it helps us be able to identify how people are responding to all different aspects of what it is that we're doing. And the better you get at getting people to respond to what it is that you're doing, the better your channel is going to go. So it's not a problem with you. It's just that you're way early in the process. Like when it comes to YouTube, for those of you that are just getting started, when it comes to YouTube, if you are, or when you are, I should say, when you're just getting started, YouTube is like anything else. It's like any sport that you're going to play. It's like any other skill that you're going to develop, any new hobby that you're going to go into. When you first start, there's stuff you got to learn. And if you want to excel at that sport, that hobby, that new thing that you're getting into, then you have to learn the things about it and you have to learn how to do the stuff. YouTube is the same exact way. So if you're not getting that response yet, it doesn't mean you suck. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get the response in the future. It just means that you have to go through that process just like everybody else does when it comes to, you know, getting people to respond to what it is that you're doing. So don't be discouraged by it because you're saying like, why does nobody watch me? So don't get discouraged by it. Just keep in mind that, you know, that if you aren't getting people to respond yet, that you just need to, you know, keep going through the process of learning and applying the things that you learn until you get to the point that you do get people to respond to what it is that you're doing. Another thing that I would encourage you to do, like I love your transparency. You're like, hey, I just want to do this because I want to be a popular person. But one thing that I do encourage you to do is to find something else to drive you. So the desire to be popular, like that's, you know, one thing, and that's, you know, obviously something that you're trying to do. However, one thing that I would also do as part of that is I would try to, attach, you know, additional goals to it that aren't only based on popularity, because if you only base it on the popularity side of things, then that can end up, you know, long-term, that can end up really doing a number on your brain. So I do encourage you to also have, you know, some additional, you know, goals that you're carrying with you that you're trying to accomplish, in addition to, you know, becoming a popular content creator. Next up, number 21, we've got All Things Home with Kiva. All Things Home with Kiva says they've been on YouTube for less than a year. The type of channel is home decor, clean home. And the goal of the channel is to build a foundation that will turn into revenue. The question is, I have 56 videos on my channel. 2 are between 1,000 and 5,000 views. All else, 86 to 230 views. What possibly happened to get me the views that are higher than now? Okay, so here are the things that cause videos to perform better than other videos. One is the topic. This is the most important thing, the topic itself, because if your topic sucks, you can have an awesome thumbnail, but just the topic itself isn't something people are interested in. So the very first thing that you have to look at is what were these videos about compared to what these other videos are about. So that's number one. Second, you gotta make sure that you're going in your analytics and you're comparing videos against each other. There's literally a button inside of your advanced analytics to where you can pick one of your videos and then you can click compare. And when you click compare, it's going to start showing you different metrics that you choose, or different analytics that you choose, different stats that you choose on one of your other videos. And you'll be able to start comparing them and you'll be able to see, oh, interesting. When YouTube's showing this one on home pages, it looks like people are actually clicking on this one a lot more compared to some of these other videos I'm doing. When people are watching this from home pages on this video that's performing better, people are watching for a lot longer. They're actually making it to the end of this video. And then it looks like my in-screen click-through rate here, it looks like a lot of people are actually making it past the end of my video, and they're clicking into another video from the end of my video. And that's causing YouTube to get more watch time, and therefore YouTube is showing my content to more people because people are responding to it in terms of clicking on it and watching more content and so on at a higher rate than the other videos that you're putting out. So look at those things when it comes to why, you know, some of your videos are doing better than other videos, because at the end of the day, it comes down to how people are responding to them. But at the very core, or the very, you know, top level of that is the topic of the video itself. So you have to make sure the topic is a good fit for the people that you're trying to reach, and it's something that, you know, people are actually interested in. And you have to make sure it's clear that it's about that topic. And that's where your thumbnail and title do come in, is, you know, like if you could have like a really awesome topic, but then your thumbnail is like, I can't believe this happened, and it's just a picture of you going like this, right? And then there's like no real context in the title, because the title says something like, you know, like, holy cow, it really happened, right? There's like zero context there in terms of like what could possibly be behind that click. So you got to make sure that, you know, even that the topic itself is somewhat clear, or very clear from the outside. And by the outside, I mean before somebody clicks on it. Like, let's say that your content shows up on somebody's homepage or suggested next to another video or in search or in their mobile feed. Like it's got to be clear to them what it is that they might get out of the video, or at least create the curiosity that makes them want to click on it to see what it is they're going to get out of that video. Freaking awesome. Nice to see you in here. Hope you're doing great. Let's see here. Next up, we're on number 22 now. If you're just joining this, if you are just hanging out here, if you are just entering the stream right now, I do want to let you know that we're talking about all things related to being a YouTube content creator. So if you are a YouTube content creator, we are all doing the thing that you're doing in terms of, content. So what we're talking about right now is all things related to being a YouTube content creator. Some of those things are about getting views and subscribers and money and mindset. We talked about like burnout. We talked about what else have we talked about here? We talked about changing channel names. We talked about pivoting channels. We've talked about live streaming, if it'll, hurt your channel or not, things like that. These are the types of things that we are talking about right now. Andrew Can in the house. What's up, my man? Hope you are doing fantastic. Nice to see you in here. So King Gold is our next one here on the list. They upload when they have time. It's a gaming channel. The goal of the channel is to entertain and occasionally provide information. The question is, how do I find the balance between uploading frequently and producing higher quality content? One, workflow. That can be extremely helpful. Just basically making sure that you're doing things in a way that helps you produce content at a faster rate. One of those things is, of course, if you have video files as an example, making sure that you're using, templates for your video edits. Make sure that all your video graphics and things that you commonly use are organized, making sure that you are recording in a way that makes for a more easier edit. So for example, a lot of times people, when they're making content, like in your gaming content, it's going to be a little bit different because you need to record like the whole sequence depending on the type of content you're making. But in some cases, like, if you're like, hey, I'm going to be focusing on like this part of the game and this part of the game, that means you don't have to record the loading screen. That means you don't have to record, all these different aspects of the game. You just need to make sure that you're recording the parts that you need for the video. And then by doing that, you have less files to work with in terms of the file size. And then you also have less stuff that you have to scrub through when it comes to the edit. But getting your workflow together is really helpful. In addition to that, making sure that when it comes to uploading frequently and producing higher quality content, that part of the role as a content creator, part of the thing is just learning how to do that thing, because you got to put out content that people respond to, on a regular basis. You got to put out that content, but it does need to be at a certain quality in order for people to respond to it, at a high level too. So because of that, I make sure that I would definitely make sure that you are, just trying to find that balance. But keep in mind, when it comes to producing higher quality content, that doesn't always mean that it's going to get a better response, right? So sometimes all the extra stuff that you're adding to your videos might not even be necessary. In some cases, it might be necessary. But, just going through and testing stuff. Like, for example, in my videos, I used to add so much stuff. Like I would have things like, I would have parts of my videos that you would only get like a really, a little treat from if you were wearing headphones, right? But then, after a while, I'm like, hey, I just need to get content out. All right, like I need to, I just need to get stuff out. And, some of those things I'll do sometimes, if I edit something, I'll still do that sometimes now as well. But, at the end of the day, I found that, some of the stuff that I was doing, it wasn't necessary and it wasn't adding anything to the video. It wasn't causing people to respond to it better or anything like that. I was just adding it for the sake of me, and it was adding a lot of extra time, like hours and hours and hours and hours to what it is that I was doing, to where instead of spending the time there, I can spend it on making content that's going to add value to people, instead of, spending that extra time just kind of, adding those little details that most people won't even notice anyway. So here, next up.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend.
Next up on our list here, we've got Trisha Smith. Trisha Smith says that they upload when they have time, or no, 1 time per week or more. Yeah, there we go, 1 time per week or more. Let's see here. It's the type of channel is a commentary and rant channel. The goal of the channel is to be entertaining, rant to be entertaining. And the question is, where would you say is the best place to get free thumbnail pics? I use Unsplash. Is there somewhere better that's royalty free? So when it comes to thumbnail pictures, I would actually try to take the photos yourself if you can, just because then that way you are 100% certain that you have, that you have the rights to that. But if you don't, I know you're asking for free thumbnail pictures, but even in that case, I would still I actually use for mine, if I use something in my thumbnails that I didn't make or a photo I didn't take, then I will actually pay for the image. And the reason for that is because I want the license to be able to use it in the event that somebody does, try to give me a strike of some kind on my thumbnails, because you can do that, that I actually have proof that I've paid for it, that I have the license to use it and all of that. when you're using like the like Unsplash, in most cases you're going to be fine, right? In most cases you're going to be fine. But there is just a tiny little bit of risk there. So because of that, I would just keep those things in mind. But Unsplash is okay. In terms of other places, I'm not really sure off the top of my head. Because if you were to ask me that, in another, if you would have just said what are some places, I might have mentioned Unsplash. But maybe somebody in the chat can mention another place. But off the top of my head, I'm not really sure. I think Pexels might be one. So you can try them, look at their licensing, look at all the details about them to make sure that you think they're safe. But I think Pexels, P-E-X-E-L-S, I think is another one. Broxton Magnet Fisher is the next question that we have. They upload 1 time per week or more. They do treasure hunting content, magnet fishing, metal detecting, coin roll hunting, etc. The goal of the channel says, I love doing these hobbies and enjoy taking everyone along with me on my journey. The question is, YouTube Shorts, do I need to set them up like a video, description, tags, thumbnails, etc.? So much thanks for everything you do, brother. I appreciate you. So when it comes to these types of things, right, like the thumbnail is going to be dependent on if you're trying to get like on platform traffic that's not just on the short shelf. If you are, then in that case, make a thumbnail for it. In terms of setting it up like a video with a description, tags, thumbnail, etc., I would still add a good title to it. I would still add a description to it and so on, just because it only is going to take you a few minutes to do it anyway. The boxes are there. Fill them out. Next, we've got Andrew Can says Pexels is good. Next up, we've got... And by the way, if you are enjoying this stream so far, make sure you give this a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And if you're not already, if you're enjoying this and you are not watching my video content, you're not watching these live streams, I encourage you to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to learn more about YouTube and growing your channel and all things related to being a content creator. In terms of the video content itself, I talk about growing your channel, but I also talk about like video editing software, live streaming software, things like that, and just other things that will help you as a content creator. So if you are not subscribed, I encourage you to do so. Next up, the channel that we have here is Mommy Visions. Love the channel name. The type of channel is a mommy channel, and the goal of the channel is to grow a following and make money for my family. The question is, how do you handle negative comments? This is a really good one. How many people here get negative comments, either from time to time or all the time, just on a regular basis? Who here gets negative comments? So when it comes to handling negative comments, you have a couple different options. One is the first thing we got to make sure that we're defining is that when it comes to negative comments, there are negative comments in terms of people just being jerks, and then there's comments that are things that you might not necessarily agree with based on how people are consuming your content. So when it comes to the second one, we'll do that one first. When it comes to like you making a video about a particular thing, and let's say you have these opinions that you are expressing, or you're having these things that you're showing, and then you have somebody in your comments that's telling you to do it in a different way that maybe they think is better. In my opinion, I don't think that's a negative comment. I think that that's somebody just either, challenging the ideas that you're sharing, or they're just adding to the conversation. So some people will look at those and they'll be like, oh, why did they, I'm saying to do it this way. Why did they come in and say to do it that way? And some people will look at that as a negative comment. But in my opinion, that is not. That's just somebody challenging, your ideas, and those types of things are appreciated in my opinion. However, there's the other side of that, which is people that are coming in and they're just trying to ruin your day. They're attacking your appearance. They're attacking the way you say things. They're attacking, the specific things that you do in your videos. They're coming in, they're dropping spam links, whatever the thing is. They are just not contributing. They're trying to take away. They're trying to cause disruption. They're trying to cause, negativity, just in general. For those, I hide them from the channel. Because I don't want them I don't want them here, right? Like I just completely hide them from the channel. So because of that, if you have people that are trolling you, people that are saying things and they're attacking you, then in that case, every comment on YouTube, there's a 3-dot menu next to the comment. If you click on that, you have the option to hide user from channel. So I start doing that. And another thing that you want to do as well is any of the comments that you get to where they're attacking you, if it's a personal attack, then in that case, if they have a certain phrase or certain words that they say on a regular basis, like let's say, for example, that you have, what can we use as an example here? Okay, I'm wearing glasses. So let's say, And this is kind of a really lightweight one. But let's say that you are somebody that wears glasses, and let's say your glasses are kind of thick and people like give you a hard time about it. Then in that case, one thing that you could put in your comments, or not in your comments, but you could put in your blocked words list, which is inside of your YouTube settings. All of us have access to this. Even if you have a brand new channel and you haven't published a video yet, you have access to this. It's called your blocked words list. In order to find it, on a computer, you log into your Creator Studio. Down in the bottom left-hand corner, you see a little gear icon. You click on that, and then you go into Community, I think it is, and then you look for the area that says blocked words. So what you do there is you put in that example, you'd put in the word glasses. Then anybody that says anything in their comment, if they use the word glasses, that would be a trigger word, and that would cause YouTube to move that comment into an area inside of the back end of your YouTube channel that's called held for review. And then by doing that, what's going to happen is you're not going to see that comment. The people that are interacting with your channel are not going to see that comment. That person, they are going to see the comment. It's going to look to them like they left that comment and that other people see it, so they can be like, haha, I showed them, or whatever it is that they get out of it. But then essentially they're just going to be shouting into a void, so nobody's going to see it. So when you put that blocked words list in there, or you hide them from your channel, the same things are going to happen. But the only difference is when you put the blocked word in there, actually, when you put the blocked word in there, it actually removes it from public view. So nobody's going to see that except for them. However, if you block them from the channel, then they can come there and they can do whatever they want. Nobody's going to see it. But the blocked words list will remove those comments. So if you get comments about your weight and it makes you uncomfortable, if you get comments about, any other thing, with your physical appearance and it makes you uncomfortable, if you're too swole, right? You've been in the gym too much and people are giving you a hard time, if it bothers you, add it to your blocked words list. If there is certain language that you don't like people using in your videos, if you don't like people using abrasive language, then put those things in your blocked words list. And then when people use those types of words in your comment section, then YouTube is going to automatically put them in that particular area. And then you don't even have to look at it if you don't want to. Great question, though. Another thing, too, as a content creator, one thing that can happen is, somebody comes in and leaves a comment, you can carry it with you all day long, right? You can carry it with you all day long. You can be thinking about it like, oh man, I can't believe they said that, right? And you start, questioning yourself and it makes you insecure for the day or whatever. For those types of things as well, just remember, that person isn't trying to add anything to what it is that's going on. That person is there to, disrupt things for you. And they're saying those things because they're hoping that you'll carry it with you throughout the day. So just make sure that you do not give them that pleasure and that you release it from your mind as soon as you possibly can. Next up, we got Joey's Monster Movies. Joey Monsters Movies, they upload one time per week or more. The type of channel is they make retro monster movies. That's awesome. And the goal of the channel is to make 300 movies in the next 5 years. This is awesome. The question is, my movies are filmed in black and white like cheesy 1950s sci-fi movies. Should the thumbnails be black and white to reflect that, or would color thumbnails attract more attention? This is a tough one. This is a really tough one because using the black and white, it would be on theme, right? It would be on theme. It would help, kind of set that vibe before they even clicked into it. I would experiment with it. I would test both of them, and I would see if you can find a response from one or the other. But what I would do is as the channel grows and as you start getting activity, because if like the concept of what you're sharing with me is like, blow up potential on YouTube. So I love the concept. If it's executed well, then in that case, as the channel grows, even if people start responding to the color stuff, at first, I would slowly start transitioning, even if it means over time, you just start desaturating your thumbnails just a little bit at a time. I would start trying to move into like the black and white just for the sake of the theme, if you could, for the sake of the branding, as long as people continue to respond to it. But if you're like, hey, as I start desaturating and people just don't respond to this, then in that case, then I wouldn't do that. But if you can slowly do it in a way that as your channel grows, people are still recognizing it's yours, all that good stuff, and then they start coming into it, then I would try to do that, just because that would be so cool. There's some channels that do that right now. Like I think Jocko Willink, I think he does black and white thumbnails, and he just gets crushed with views. There is I think it's called like Invisible People. I think it's them. That does black and white thumbnails. If not, it's one of those type of like interview type channels that does the black and white thumbnails. And they get crushed with views because the content is so interesting. But the black and white, it's not just that it's black and white, the imagery that they're using, or because of the people that they're interviewing, like they've had some life experience and it shows through their appearance. So because of that, like the people that they, you know, interview and things like that, like they're just interesting, you know, thumbnails anyway. So if you do start moving into the black and white, I would start looking at some of those channels to kind of see, you know, their approach that they're doing and see if you can mimic something like that. Let's see here. So as we keep on going, I'm really excited for your channel, Joey's Monster Movies. Like the potential for that sounds huge. RC Trails is our next question here. They are doing 1 time per week content. It's a RC channel / entertainment. Goal of the channel.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend.
Goal of the channel
right now
is so people can relax and unwind watching the rigs drive through trails. The question, how long should I wait before testing the new title and thumbnail? Oh, you know, we did this one already. Let's see here. Next up on our list here, we've got Can Fly Wa, WA. They've been on YouTube for a year or more. It's a droning channel. The goal is showcasing Western Australia from the air. The question is, when you create a video, would you make a short video highlighting the main video? No. When it comes to the short shelf, make content for the short shelf. Like if like the short shelf isn't the place to put like an ad, right? It's a place to give content for people that are there to enjoy content in the short shelf. So you don't want to look at the short shelf. You don't want to look at the short shelf like it's a place to like advertise, right? You want to look at it as like, hey, if I'm putting something on the short shelf, it's got to be good and appropriate for the short shelf. I'm going to step away here for 1 second. I'll be right back. Give me about like 15 seconds.
Check, check, 1, 2. I'm B to the G, it's easy to see what you need, it's attention from me. I'll give you the shout, get back on the grind and you'll be down for the count, trying to breathe. Your favorite is me, now you hate with the diss. All of that hair hanging there like a chick, man, give me a break. You're standing too close to the camera like Nick. Where's the claim that you say Filmora is hate? Call me a thief for the titles you hate. I taught you to rank, you seem to forget it. I hit it and quit it, and you try to walk in my wake. I'm tossing you weight, giving you shine, giving you clout by doing this with my time. And what I'm about, why I'm your guide. You come from my console, but now you're denied. You wanna throw shade. It's too late, I already got it made. You wanna bring hate. Hit the road, hater, cause I'm not phased.
If you're messing with G, you're messing with me. The name is Nick Nim and I'll bend in a knee. Disturbing the peace, I'll come back into battle and murder.
All right, so let's see here. So back to the list here. We've got... here, make sure I answered that question. Okay, yeah, make it appropriate for the short shelf. Next up, we've got Do It For Me Solutions. Do It For Me Solutions says that they upload content bi-weekly. They've been on YouTube for less than a month, so they're new. Welcome to YouTube. The type of channel is technology education for smart homes and home automation. The goal of the channel is to help viewers understand confusing smart home tech and generate prospects for one-on-one paid consulting. All right, we got a business one here. It says, thinking of creating a video ad for my own paid consulting service with a bit of humor and then including it in my video as if I was an advertiser on the channel. I would segue. And now a word from our sponsor, me. But I need to check the YouTube sponsor setting for the video. And more importantly, would this be okay to do? So I wouldn't do that. The reason I wouldn't do that is because as soon as you say, and now a word from our sponsor, there's going to be people that are going to skip that part. It's just part of YouTube. Like some people watch through sponsored messages, other people won't. But if you are putting out content and you're going to do that, I would do it in another way. Like it's clever, it would be fun. Maybe do that with your channel trailer. Like that would be a great channel trailer for the people that run across it. But I would also let them know, hey, this is what I'm doing on the YouTube channel. This is the value you're going to get out of what it is that that I'm doing here. But then that would be a good place to put that. But I wouldn't do it in the content. What I would do in the content is I would try to think of the content that you need to make that would lead people into that. So for example, how to set up, particular things in home automation and simply say, hey, by the way, if you need help with any of this stuff, I'm available for consulting. You can contact me here. That's a message that won't be skipped. People won't get past that because it's just part of that natural flow of the video and your natural conversation. Whereas if you say, and now a word from our sponsor, me, some people aren't going to pick up on that me part, and some people are just going to skip that entire message or just leave the video entirely. So because of that, I would actually just build it into the content and just do it in a more conversational way for the sake of, for the sake of people not abandoning the video and you actually getting the opportunity to tell them that. Another thing as well is when you do that, I wouldn't make like a whole big deal out of it. I would do the channel trailer. I'd mix it into that just because that would be fun. It would show like your humor and all that. But in terms of the actual content itself, I would just find comfortable places to mention it in your content. So for example, let's say since you're doing home automation stuff, let's say that you're like assembling something that you're going to, install somewhere, or you're showing, like whatever remote or smart thing that you've got. Then, while you're doing that, that's where you would mention that, like, hey, by the way, I'm a professional at this. You need help, you can hop on a Skype call with me. I've got, information about that down in the description. But anyway, this remote, as you'll see, it's got one big button on it that you have to click, whatever the thing is. But yeah, I would do that instead of the commercial approach. One thing that you might want to do is you could make it a thing that you do at the end of your videos, to where, like while there's an end screen element up, first you tell people to click on it, but then you have like all these little like fun commercials that you make at the end of each of your videos for the sake of the people that do make it to the end of the video, just to give them something like fun to watch. That would be kind of like a thing that would grow for the insiders of your channel after a period of time, that they get to see these like little fun things that you do at the end. That's something that you could consider doing there, but I wouldn't interrupt the entire video for it. Let's see here. Next up on the list, we've got Dreamscape PS. They have a gaming channel. The goal of the channel is they love to edit and give cool vids to my audience. The question is, hey, I'm a gaming creator with 11,000 subscribers that is wanting to start changing my content into IRL videos. What would you recommend? Totally different audience. So if you are doing like IRL content, and you are currently a gaming creator, you've grown an audience around your gaming content. Now it's possible that some of those people or all of those people will follow you into the IRL content. So you could experiment with publishing, just a few videos on your channel of that type of content and just see the response you get. You'll know really quick if they're going to respond to it or not. But if they don't, I would just start a new channel for that content. And then from time to time on your other channel, if you do continue to have that channel and continue to make content for it from time to time, one thing that I would just mention there in some of the content, like, hey, by the way, I've got, like a vlog, over here that you can come check out, if that's something you're interested in. So then that way, you're only sending people over that are, that are actually into you and the content that you're making, more so than just the game that you're playing. Let's see here. Next up on our list, we're on number 31 now. We're just cruising through these. Number 31. So we've got Broken Umbrella. Nice. They've been on YouTube for less than a year. It's a travel through Scotland channel. The goal is to make it a main source of income. Question: is it essential to start promoting your channel outside of YouTube? How valuable it is? Is it worth your time, or better to invest in making more videos? So it's okay. So I'm going to throw a big depends on this, right? Because let's say that your content that you're making would be really appropriate for a Scotland subreddit or for like a travel subreddit. Then in that case, you might want to share your content there from time to time as long as people respond positively to it. However, when you publish a video, thinking to yourself like, okay, now I got to go share this here, and I got to share it here, and I got to share it here, and I got to share it here, and I'm going to rely on that for my views, then in that case, that's the wrong approach. So what you want to do is you want to learn how to get the response here on YouTube. And then that way, if you do share it in those places, it's just a little bit of a bonus compared to like YouTube showing your content to more people. What I recommend that you do is, try sharing some of your content, because that might give you the initial, audience, but only share it in places that would be a perfect fit for what you're making. So the thought exercise that you want to do here is you just want to think to yourself before you share it in your group. And this is for everybody here. If you share your content anywhere, before you share it, think to yourself, the people that I'm sharing this to in this group, this subreddit, this Discord, wherever it is, the people that I'm sharing this to, based on the interest of this particular group or this particular subreddit or Discord or whatever, would the people in this group, based on this particular topic of interest, would they be likely to respond to my content in a positive way or click on it if it was shown to them on their homepage on YouTube or their mobile feed on YouTube? If the answer is yes, then go ahead and share it there. If the answer is like, I don't know, probably not, but maybe, then don't even waste your time. But if the answer is like, yeah, absolutely, that this entire subreddit is about people, traveling in Scotland. So yeah, or people going to travel to Scotland. So this would be a good fit. Then in that case, go for it. But at the end of the day, though, the thing that you want to get to, or the place that you want to get to, is to where, because you're making more videos, you are learning how to get people to respond better to your content. So then YouTube is doing all the promotion for you. So then you don't have to, outside of, anything additional that you want to do. But your core or base views will actually come here from the platform. Let's see here. Next up on the list. So Navad Rizvi says, hey, can you talk a little bit about the safety of using TubeBuddy and such tools, which can full permission on the channel? Absolutely. So the tools that ask for permission on your YouTube channel, they need that in order to be able to effectively use the tool. So for example, like with TubeBuddy, they need that access in order to be able to change your thumbnails, for example. So like if you're doing an A/B test, which is one of the options for TubeBuddy, and an A/B test, for those of you that don't know, is where you're comparing thumbnail A to thumbnail B. So you have your original thumbnail, and then you're testing another thumbnail, and then TubeBuddy's swapping them out. So they need that permission in order to be able to do that. They also have a feature in there to where you can add like canned comments, and you can, just inject them right into your comment section. They need your permission in order to be able to do that. So that's why they have those permissions. So, those permissions are simply just requirements. But I can tell you right now, TubeBuddy's safe. People don't have any problems. They haven't had any problems with TubeBuddy causing issues, in terms of permissions for their channels. So don't even worry about that in regards to TubeBuddy. In terms of, the additional permissions, they should have a list in terms of, they need these permissions for these reasons. So just make sure you read that. Make sure you read that information. Theme parks and attraction with Barry.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure next time you get the chance, you go to nimminvip.com. That's going to redirect you to our members-only Facebook group. Fill out all the information on the way in, because that's how I verify that you are a channel member. If you can do that before the stream is complete today, I will get you in there as soon as this stream is over here in a little bit. Brainy Beaver says, will changing my name affect my channel? 7.2 thousand subscribers. No, you'll be fine. So like when it comes to your channel name, like people are going to respond to the actual video content itself. Some people, like your super fans, might be like when they first click on it, but when they see you and all of that, what I would do is like when you do change your name is the first like handful of videos that you do, just because you already have, a little bit of a following, just first handful of videos, like as you start the content, you just might want to quickly say something like, hey, formally, this name or, like whatever, for the sake of just kind of building that bridge of understanding for the people that are watching the videos that are, super fans. However, if you're like, hey, I'm getting mostly new people coming in here, I'm not getting a lot of return viewers, things like that, then just make the change and move forward. But if you do have a lot of people that are continually coming back to your, to your videos, then in that case, just making, that quick mention over a few videos for the sake of, the larger part of your super fans seeing that content and knowing that you've made that change. Let's see here. Spring to Dumb One, thank you for joining the stream today. Hope you're doing awesome. So let's see here. So next up, we've got, we're on question number 32 now. And on question number 32, we have Zakira Faria. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And they upload one time per week or more. They've been on YouTube for 1 year or more. They do gaming content, guides, tips, tricks, walkthroughs, and live streams. They're covering the whole spectrum here. And the goal of the channel is helping others excel and progress in various games, entertain, and of course, grow and eventually monetize. Question, should the word gaming be part of my channel name? My channel art has gaming with Zakira on it, and some of my thumbnails do as well. You don't have to, no. If you're extremely active on YouTube, then in some cases that can help just, one person drip in here, one person drip in there. But, at the end of the day, your video content's going to be driving the channel. So, so you don't have to have gaming as part of the channel. As part of the channel name. It would be just a super small advantage if you're super active on YouTube. But at the end of the day, just going with the actual, like Zakiria on it is perfectly fine. Let's see here. Next up on our list here, we've got we're moving into question number 33 here. We've got Simply Lessa. Simply Lessa says that they upload when they have time. They are in an Android / so they have a lifestyle channel. The goal of the channel is to encourage low-income, disadvantaged, and disabled people to try new things. The question, can we please have an updated using a phone-only information? please, can we have updated using a phone only information? I'm not sure what that, I'm not sure what your question is there. I apologize. So next up, we've got DRL Away. Says they upload 1 time per week or more. Travel content. The goal of the channel is to help people see other places. That's pretty cool. The question is live streaming. I'm thinking about doing Q&A and live streams, but do not want to hurt my channel growth. If I do a live stream and then take down the replay after, say, 48 hours, make it unlisted, will that hurt the channel, or is there a better strategy? If you stream and then you take it down, you're fine. If you stream and you leave it up, you're also going to be fine, as long as it's in alignment with the value that you currently give on the channel. So you can test it, if you want to, over the next, let's say, 90 days, you can test, having it on and having it off and see if it makes a difference. It's not going to, but if you want to, you can. But as long as it's in alignment, then it's not going to. But if you're doing something wildly different in your streams than you do with your actual core content in terms of the value that people are getting, then in that case, you might have some problems. But as long as everything is, on brand, so to speak, or a part of your theme, then in that case, you should be all right. Same wavelength says, is 24/7 live streaming still good for 2022? Absolutely. If you go to YouTube right now, hit the live page. You might even see it sorted right, in the little quick jumps at the very top of the quick nav at the top of the screen. If you jump into that section, you're going to see a lot of 24/7 live streams that have started recently, and that have like tons of viewership in them, like right now. Let's see here. So next up, we've got Best Friend Outdoors. Best Friend Outdoors says they've been on YouTube for 1 year or more. They do farming, hunting, fishing content. The goal of the channel is to grow an audience, plus just for the enjoyment. The question is, hey, Nick, I'm wanting to rename my channel. Would it be better to just rename the channel? We're getting a lot of like channel renames today. That's like an odd one. Like normally it'll be like we're getting a lot of questions about views or a lot of questions about shorts or monetization, whatever. But today, we're getting a lot of questions about renaming the channel. Let's see here. It says, would it be better to just rename the channel on the current Google account I'm on, or should I transfer the content to a new Google account with the new name? Yeah, you can just rename the channel. You can just rename the channel and just move forward from there. You don't have to like do how you're doing anything. Next up on our list here, we've got, if you're just joining us, I do want to let you know that we are talking about YouTube. So this is all YouTube related content. We're all YouTubers hanging out here. So, if you have just joined the stream recently, we're basically just going through and answering the questions in the order that they are received through the form that is down in the description below the stream right now. We are currently, let's see here. It looks like we are currently 36 questions in. And we still got, a decent amount of time here on the stream, so we're going to get through more. But that's what's going on. If you're just joining us, so I encourage you to stick around. If you have any questions that pop up, you can add them to that form. One thing that I'm actually going to start doing as well is here right around the corner, I'm going to start publishing my podcast again. And I have the questions that I pull, from the podcast itself, but I'm actually going to start answering some of these questions that I don't get to in the live streams. I'm going to start answering those for the podcast as well. So I'm thinking like from a workflow perspective, just a little, for those of you that are here a lot, there's a little inside info here. So basically, I'm thinking from a workflow perspective, I'm considering that after the live stream is complete, going through just like a handful more and just doing the podcast like right there, right after it, while I'm just in the thing mentally, just going through and getting those questions answered for comments over coffee. But yeah, so if you got a question, make sure you get it in the form. But anyway, the question right here says, my channel discusses and gives tips on life issues, better quality of life. My vlogs are to show where to shop for certain things, travel vlogs too. I live stream twice weekly. The goal of the channel is to help people solve challenges in life matters, live stream to give tips on life and YouTube challenging issues. Question, can I continue these things on one channel or separate them? Discussing life on YouTube matters and travel and shopping vlogs. My challenge is separating them in the same challenges involved in starting a new channel. So what I would do in your case is I would actually just double down on the one channel and just make the type of content that you are the most passionate about on that one channel and just do it in the best way that you possibly can. That's what I would do. And the reason that I would do that is because if you double down on that, then your full focus is going to be on growing that channel, serving that particular audience, making videos for that channel and all of that. And it's also going to cut your workload in half, because if you start, uploading to two different channels, then in that case, you're going to have to make content for one channel and make content for the other channel. As both channels grow, you're going to have to manage all the stuff on the back end in terms of comments, in terms of, any sponsorships you're doing, in terms of any other types of monetization that you're doing. You're basically doubling up on everything. So because of that, I would just double down on trying to like really thrive on one channel. And then once you get that channel going, you got some really solid momentum going on that. You're doing awesome. You're able to reinvest some of the money there to bring on people to help you manage some of that so that you can open up some time for yourself to start working on that next channel. That would be, that, in my opinion, that would be a better approach than like, hey, I'm just going to make a bunch of YouTube channels or multiple YouTube channels and just try to like really wear myself out by, uploading tons of content to both of them. So really quick, there's a super chat that came in that I just missed. It just disappeared here, like right as I was getting ready to address it. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull it up here on my end. And the question here was from Divide and Conquer. Hey, what's up, dude? Hope you're doing awesome. It says, what are some good ways to revive a dead variety gaming channel? Focus on a game right now. Focus on something that's popular that you love playing. And just double down on that content for a little bit to just get that initial, activity coming in. If you're saying it's a dead channel, which to my brain, that means that that you don't have any activity. Your archive isn't getting any response or anything like that, which pretty much means you have an open road in front of you. So because of that, I would just start, I would pick the games that you care about the most and just start making content about those and just keep moving forward from there. So here, next up, we've got, we're on 37 now. It's great. So next up, we are at Wise Investments. They upload 1 time per week or more. They make finance content. The goal of the channel is to teach beginners financial literacy and monetization. The question is, can you talk about keywords or hashtags that get more traffic to a video? I have a finance channel for beginners and looking for ways to get more traffic. So the ways to get more traffic, of course, is going to come down to response, understanding, how to get the people that you're trying to reach that are interested in finance content to respond well to what it is that you're doing at the click level and at the enjoying the content level. And that is typically displayed through your average view duration, average percentage viewed. And then, of course, they're, them clicking on additional content, subscribing to the channel, things like that. But when it comes to keywords, the idea with keywords is, one, they help the people that are looking for those topics identify that they're about those topics, but they can also help you show up in YouTube search for those topics as well. But you don't necessarily have to have the keyword as part of like your metadata in order for it to show up. Well, in terms of the metadata that you enter for it to show up in YouTube search, because YouTube is listening or watching your videos and they understand the language that you're talking about. Their system does, their AI, and it can still put you in search. But you give it the edge when you do optimize for specific keywords or keyword phrases. So the idea, let's say in your case, the thing is, how to invest, let's see here, let's do, for the sake of this, let's do, how to, or index funds explained, right? Index funds explained in under 5 minutes, right? Or index fund deep dive in under 5 minutes, or index funds, index fund explained in under 5 minutes. We'll say that's it. In that case, then your keyword might be index funds, right? And then your keyword phrase might be index funds explained. And then the in 5 minutes would be the compelling, the additional compelling element to it. So by adding those things to your title, then what you're doing is you're immediately telling YouTube at the time of publish, this is what the video is about. It's already collecting information. It's smart enough to know, but like you're just kind of helping pushing it over the edge. So basically by doing that, there's a good chance that you might show up in search, and relatively fast. If you're going to stay there or not is going to be dependent on how your video performs, next to the other videos there. But the most important part of this whole thing is that when it does come to those keywords or keyword phrases, they can also help you show up in like Google, for example. So if somebody's searching for, index funds explained, then in that case, you could possibly show up there in Google as well, as long as people respond to your video positively on Google. So because of that, you give yourself 2 different traffic sources there where people can, find your content, and you can also come up in some of the other textual search engines as well, like Bing and, Yahoo and all that. So, so because of that, when you use those keyword phrases, it does give you that opportunity to, to show up in those other places as long as your content performs well there. However, like the bigger elephant in the room is that, when you add, index funds explained at the front of your title in under 5 minutes at the end, then in that case, you're also helping the users of YouTube identify at a quick glance, without having to put much effort into it, they are able to identify that that is explicitly what your video is about. So by adding those things, it'll tell the system like, hey, this is my version of telling the system what the video is about through the metadata topic of the video. However, it also helps the users of YouTube identify that it's about that too. And because you are optimizing for the viewers first, then if you do have that keyword to keyword phrase there, you can show up and search for it also. But then you're also helping people on home pages, mobile feeds, suggested videos, and all that also identify that it's about the index funds being explained, even before YouTube cuts off the title in some places. So they can clearly see that regardless of where it is shown to them on YouTube. And one thing that's really important to make sure that you are keeping in mind with all of this is that YouTube doesn't care about videos. They care about the viewers. So because of that, your job as a content creator, when you're using keywords and you're thinking about all this, your job as a content creator is to make sure that you are helping people identify that your content's something that they care about. And one of the ways that you do that is through, using the keywords. But it can help you, show up in some of those other places that we were talking about too. So one thing to think about is when it comes to keywords, typically like, single word, keywords like, we'll just say index fund, even though it's 2 words, you know what I mean, in terms of like the topic, those single words are typically really competitive. So because of that, you typically go into keyword phrases, and then you can go into like long tail keywords, which basically means that you're adding more detail to it based on the research that you do to figure out. And you can use TubeBuddy for this, by the way. I got a link to TubeBuddy in the description. But basically with the long tail keywords, is you start getting into the details of what people are looking for. So instead of them looking for index funds necessarily, they're looking for, index funds explained. And then of course, in that case, if you're going for like long tail, you might not have the in 5 minutes on there. You might have something, index funds explained for beginners would be, like a long tail, would be a long tail keyword phrase. So the idea with that is that it just helps people, one, identify it, but then it also helps you show up as long as people respond positively, because that's a key point of this, is as long as people respond positively to it. If you show up and search, you can stay there as long as people, respond positively to what it is that you're doing at the click, watching it, and further engaging in your content. All right, next up on our list here, we've got, let me scroll down this list here. Scully's House of Thrillers. What's up, dude? Nice to see you in here. We've got DNA, the only one.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend.
Hey, my pleasure, Wise Investments. DNA, the only one, says they upload 1 time per week or more, and they do gaming content. The goal of the channel is to get YouTube monetization. And what is your question? Says, do keywords help get views and subscribers? 2 keyword questions in a row after not talking about keywords for probably like a month in the live stream. This is great. So yeah, they can, absolutely. Because it helps, like I just mentioned, helps people identify the videos about the thing they care about. And then also it can, help your videos show up in, in other places. Let's see here. Next up. So really quick, a quick disclaimer I want to make. This is for Wise Investments and for the channel that I just clicked away from also, is that, keep in mind, because a lot of people will target search, and search is great. Search is, typically really stable, a really stable search of traffic. And, you can like really ride search for a long time. If you get some well-placed videos, they can, search traffic can definitely grow a channel rapidly. However, just keep in mind that a majority of the activity that happens on YouTube, it actually comes from them recommending, their system recommending content to people. So that means home pages, suggested videos, of course, you also have, trending pages, explore pages, all that stuff. But, typically home pages and recommended videos or suggested videos, like that's where all the traffic is, just the recommendation features in general. So, optimizing for search is definitely something that you want to do as long as your content is good for search. However, you also need to make sure that you are being mindful and that you're thinking about it from the perspective of, yes, I'm optimizing this for search. However, I'm also going to be thinking about if this shows up on somebody's homepage, what about this like topic, title, and thumbnail combination is going to be compelling enough for somebody to come in and actually click on this video if it shows up on a homepage, even though I'm targeting search, right? So you want to make sure that you're kind of adding a double duty when you are, thinking of how am I going to put together, like what am I going to make a video about, and then how am I going to put, a thumbnail and title together for it. You want to make sure that you're thinking of both sides of that so that you're not just kind of trying to limit yourself to just one traffic source. So you're opening yourself up to, the possibility of a broader audience. Lance Groom
Super chat.
Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Next up on our list here, we got the YT Classroom. They do, let's see here, it's general informative content. The goal of the channel is to spread news and awareness. And the question is, what's a good, easy to learn video making and editing software or app? The top two. YouTube is oversaturated with suggestions. So if you're looking for easy to learn, Camtasia, I'm always going to stand behind Camtasia. They're awesome. Yes, they sponsor content on the channel, but I've been using Camtasia since September of 2014. Actually before that, because it was in some of my first videos. So yeah, Camtasia is awesome. It's really easy to use, and they've actually transformed it in massive ways since I started using it as well. They just put out an update for Camtasia 22. It's awesome. So if you're looking for really easy, then that would be one that I would go with. If you're looking for something that is extremely like advanced and has like all the whistles and bells and all that stuff, Premiere Pro is a common one for a lot of content creators. Filmora is also another, popular one for content creators as well. That's also, relatively easy to use. But I would definitely make sure that you're checking out those just as some of the options. So I know all of them. I know Camtasia has a free trial. I know Filmora has a free trial. I know Premiere Pro has a free trial. But keep in mind, like if you start going down the Adobe route, even though they have great products, they are subscription-based products. So I'm not sure about Filmora, but I know that Camtasia is like a one-time price with it. So keep that in mind too when you're making your decision, because that's definitely part of the thing. We're on number 40 already. We are cruising through these. Okay, so we're on number 40 already. Invisible America, awesome. Absolutely awesome. Glad you're getting pumped up from these. Me too. This is how I get my energy for next week. So let's see here. So KDD A Legion says that they do anime gaming and reaction content, 2K EA anime and gaming. The goal of the channel is 100 subs or to be entertaining. Question. Morning, Nick. Morning. Top of the morning to you. It's actually evening, night, actually, where I am. I have two questions. My first question is, how can I talk more of my videos so that way I don't have to cut out a lot into them? My next question is, recently I've reached 77 subscribers with a 2.7 thousand impressions and click-through rate of 5.1, and my recent videos have been doing great now that I know that I have major flaws with video ideas, thumbnails, and titles. So how can I not necessarily get the momentum, but be able to consistently make consistently entertaining content? Because I see the videos that you and C make, but I feel like I'm missing something. So, okay. When it comes to talking in your videos where you don't have to cut out a lot in them, just as a heads up, I've been making videos for, since 2014, and I've made a ton of content. I have a ton of experience with this. I've got over 500 videos on this channel. I've got almost 100 on another channel. I've got, let's see here, through collaborations and stuff, I've got an easy, probably another like 50 there. I've made content for other people, other like companies. And because of that, I've got probably another, at least, 100, 150 videos there. So like I've made a ton of content. And every single video that I make mistakes. When I'm talking, when I'm communicating, I make mistakes. What's weird, I make mistakes here in the live streams as well, but I'm a lot more fluid in the live streams than I am when I make video content. And it's odd, but I think it's just because I know, like when I'm live, I know that I just have to keep rolling. But when I'm making a piece of video content and it's recorded, then I think in my head, like, I can say that better. I can say it another way. Let me try making it this way. Let me put the emphasis on this instead of on this and see if it sounds better when I edit it, right? So the idea there is I just have more, stuff to work with for the edit to make it a better, polished video. But when it comes to, talking in your videos so that you don't have to cut out a lot, of course, you have to just keep practicing in terms of making your communication better. In some cases, that can mean that you're slowing down a little bit, but depending on your audience and who it is that you're reaching with your content, you may or may not, want to slow down because they may respond differently if you do. But keep in mind that making mistakes is part of the thing. So, when you are communicating in your content, if you are messing up a lot, it's just normal. Like, it's part of the process. Like, I would be surprised. There's probably somebody, but I would be surprised if there's anybody here that can just do a video in one take with no mistakes, at all, and just be like, okay, hey, we're just going to add some graphics to this and then, or some B-roll to it, and then we're just going to put this out. We're ready to roll. There's probably going to be a very low amount of people, if anybody, that can, in this entire stream that can do that. And we've got like 280 something people watching right now. So, So on the side of, getting through the edit faster, one thing that you might want to do, this is what I do, and it's helped me in major ways. I used to hit record, and then I would just keep going through it. All my mistakes, I would just keep going, just going the thing. By the time it was done, I had to pull in this huge video file, and I had to go through and like listen to each one, and like it was a pain. Now I remote. I remote for my camera that I record on, which is this one right here, and I'll say the thing and then I'll stop it. If I make a mistake, then in that case I'll keep going until I get it right, and then that last one will be the thing, and then I'll stop it. And then what happens is if I have one of those times where I'm trying to say it right and I just keep messing up and keep messing up and keep messing up, I'll kill the clip. I'll just stop it, and then I'll start it again, and then I'll try again with that new clip. And what happens is when I'm editing or when Vigard's editing, we will preview the very first part of the clip, and then if I'm continually saying the same thing through like 5 different clips, then we just start working on that very last clip because that will be the one that's correct. So that can help speed up the editing process quite a bit, to where you just have to sample like, okay, he started here, started here, started here, started here. Oh, here he changed what he said, so I'm going to back up one and pull this one in, and that's the one that we're going to work with. So that just kind of helps, in terms of the actual process itself for the editing. But in terms of making content consistently entertaining, this is where, as you gain more experience, you will, all of that will fall into place as you gain more experience. Because, the thing in terms of, consistently making content entertaining, you will learn over time through looking at your audience retention reports and just the overall response that you get to your videos. You will learn over time the things that people do respond to more in your content and the things that people don't. So what you have to do right now is just focus on making your content as good as you possibly can, trying to make every video better than the last one, and learning how to get people to click on it as well. But start working on those things and just like keep moving forward with practice. And then as you practice more, then you're going to get better at what it is that you do. But keep in mind, like, you're still going to run into mistakes. You're still going to run into problems. You're still going to, have to deal with, the edit. So just make sure that you are trying to find a workflow that will help you edit in a more efficient way, or help you record in a more efficient way, so that you are recording for the edit, right? So that you're keeping the edit in mind when you're actually recording. That'll help. Next up on our list here, we've got number 41 is where we're at right now. We've got Melv's Trolls. I'm a little nervous reading the question on this one because Trolls is a part of the name. I have a comedy skit channel. Goal of the channel is trying to grow my comedy channel and bring joy to other people around the world. The question is uploading weekly good as a beginning YouTube channel? Yeah, it can be. I mean, and here's, when it comes to like how much you upload when you're first getting started, really quick, everybody in the chat right now, everybody that's hanging out, and really quick, we're gonna see how many people are lurking. There's probably a decent amount of people lurking too. Yeah, we've got like 85% right now of people are lurking that are hanging out in this stream. So if you are lurking, just kind of reach in and kind of engage with us here for this, just for a moment. But the question that I have is, how many people here, or not how many people here, but let me know how many times per week do you upload? In some cases, I'm sure some of you are uploading like bi-weekly or something like that. But if you upload weekly, how many times per week do you currently upload? And again, if you're lurking and you're not, participating, please just lean in, just for a second, and just let me know how many times per week you upload. But when it comes to, uploading on a regular basis, so we've got 2 to 3, 3 to 6, daily. Oh, once or twice, one time, 2 to 4, currently about 2 times, once per week, 3 to 5. That's yeah. Those are a lot of upload. Mad respect to those of you that are doing like, 3 times plus. I mean, if you're consistently uploading to YouTube, mass respect. But if you're amplifying it to the point of doing like, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week, mad respect to you. That's a heck of a grind, so to speak. So in terms of uploading weekly as a beginner YouTube channel, so the reason that I think that it's important for content creators to come in and start uploading consistently right out of the gate is because if this is something that you want to do either as a hobby or it's something that you want to turn into something serious down the road, it's really important to make sure that you do learn how to build the process of making content into your lifestyle. And when you do that, that helps make it more sustainable long-term. Because if you come in and you're like, I'm going to publish here and then maybe I'll publish, just next time I get the chance, then it's going to be really hard for you to grow your channel first off. And 2, it's also going to be really hard for you to, grow long-term because, life will just keep getting in the way. However, if you're like, you know what, I'm gonna upload every single week, and I'm going to make it a priority to upload every single week, then what's going to happen is you are going to create workflows that will allow you to do that. You're going to create space in your lifestyle that's going to allow you to do that, and then that is going to help you, one, be able to continually upload content and do the thing. And there's no better way to learn than by doing the thing. So it's going to help you learn how to, do everything at a more rapid pace, because you're going to be committed to it. And it's also going to help you build it into your lifestyle so that you can ensure that you're always able to get content out on a regular basis or a somewhat regular basis. So because of that, I would definitely make sure that if you can, that you do upload on a regular basis. Christina Smallhorn in the house. So Christina, hope that you're doing awesome. Super pumped up, hoping to see you at Vid Summit this year. I'm going, so I hope that you're going, and I'm super excited to see you there this year. She says, "Hey Nick and creators, just remember next Sunday is Father's Day." Thank you for the heads up on that. You're like the holiday reminder, keeping us all in line, right? When you came in for Mother's Day, I was like, uh-oh, right? Because I was completely out of the loop on that particular one. But yeah, thank you for the heads up there. But yeah, super looking forward to Vid Summit. Is there anybody else here, out of curiosity, anybody else here going to Vid Summit this year? If you are, just let me know. Yeah, so I'm gonna go this year, and I'm so looking forward to it. Like it's gonna be incredible. So let's see here. So next up on our list, so we got Cryptoholic says, "I would love to go to Vid Summit." Brocky Boy's going. Nice. Yep, you'll be at Vid Summit. Awesome. So Teresa Justin Presley says, "What is Vid Summit?" Vid Summit is a conference for content creators that happens in Los Angeles at the end of September. It's the best one. So like I've been to, a lot of the video conferences and whatnot. Vid Summit is hands down the best one. Like it's incredible. But basically, like at Vid Summit, it's different from the other ones, because like a lot of the other conferences, like around video content, it's more of like the fans are over here and the content creators are over here type of thing. But with Vid Summit, it's like hey, we're all in the industry, and we are all just freely sharing information about the things that we know. It's incredible. So like for example, any of you that are familiar with Peter McKinnon, for example, like when he goes, like he'll just be in the hallways, talking to people and just sharing, his thoughts on YouTube and like all the different stuff about it. Mr. Beast, for those of you who know Mr. Beast, he just hangs out, in the hallways and stuff. He has to occasionally take breaks because he gets a decent amount of conversation, but like he hangs out in the, hallway, talks to people about, how to grow their channels, all that good stuff. Like, it's just a totally different experience than you get from a lot of the other conferences. It's more personal, and it doesn't have all the safeguard, or not safeguards, is probably a wrong way to put it, but it doesn't have like the fandom side of things. It's all like, hey, we're all in this together. So like when you start having conversations with people, it's not like, hey, how many subscribers do you have, or like anything like that. It's like, hey, like we're all in this together. Is there any way that I can help? Like it's awesome. Absolutely awesome. So next up, okay, we got Mel's Trolls already. We got that one taken care of. So we're on number 42 now. So we got Cryptoholics is the next question here, and they upload when they have time. The crypto charts and reviews is the type of channel. The goal of the channel is informative to crypto. The question is there a certain company that specializes in 24/7 streamers that runs multi-streams on one channel like VPN? So you can use OBubble for that. So OBubble, you can get a dedicated server there. It's a virtual server, not dedicated, but you get a virtual server there, and then you can install, streaming software there, and you can basically run the stream 24/7 through them. Very low setup. It's between, depending on the package you get, I think they're like $30 to $50 per month over there, and then you can, set up a live stream. So how it works is basically for each account that you get, you can do a stream out of. So if you're going to have multiple streams, then in that case, you would need to have multiple accounts for it. You might be able to push 2 through one. I'm not sure.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
You might be able to push 2 through it. I'm not sure, but you'll, if you're going to do a bunch of streams on the channel, you'll definitely need to have multiple OBubble accounts for that. Same Wavelength says, hope they do Vid Summit in the Philippines. Surely I will come. Vid Summit is only in LA. So they only have it in LA. So during the the thing that we've all been through here recently, we had like a virtual version of it, but now it's back to being in person. But they do have to where you can participate virtually. They have the live streams, live stream replays, and all that. So if you can't go, you'll want to get in on those things because the information shared is great. But if you can, if you're near LA, or if you're in America, like there's no reason you shouldn't go to that. In terms of if you're somebody that is like if you're doing it as a hobby, not that big of a deal. But if you're like wanting to do this professionally, or you are doing it professionally, yeah, you definitely want to check out VidSummit. So here, next up on our list here, we've got Apple Bias. Apple Bias says that they do Apple product reviews and tips. The goal of the channel is to share my love and knowledge of Apple products and eventually go full time. Question: currently I have 3.2 thousand subscribers and growing at 115 a month. Should I niche down more and focus on single Apple product to grow faster? No. If you are trying to reach Apple enthusiasts, then I would serve them with, the different Apple, content. One thing that you might want to look at, and you can check this out through the grouping feature in YouTube, is you might want to look at like, okay, when I talk about their computers, do I get a different response compared to when I talk about like their iPhones and their tablets? Reason for that is I don't know this for a fact. But I would assume that there's a lot more people that have iPhones, as an example, than there are people that have MacBooks. Again, I could be completely wrong on this, but if you use your grouping feature and you start figuring out like, okay, I need to, make some content that's going to a broader audience to grow the channel, things like that, then maybe I'm going to lean on some of the iPhone content for that. And then if I need stuff that I need to monetize, like, as an affiliate, or through sponsorships, then in that case, I would either do it apps for the iPhone, or I would do it through software or products, accessories for the computers. So basically, in your particular situation, I would still do the spectrum of Apple products, unless you're like, hey, I'm just going to start talking about like iPhones and tablets, or just mobile, products, or just the computers. But I would figure out, because you said that, one of the things is eventually go full time. So you're going to need ad revenue for that, but you're also going to need some additional income as well through other means. So one of those other means, in your case specifically, will be sponsorships and affiliate marketing. So there's what's his channel? Daily Tech is a great example of this. So like he'll start his videos with like, hey, this video is sponsored by blah, blah, blah. So his entire channel, he talks about, Apple products in general, just like you're doing. And he's just a great resource for that. So me, when I got my MacBook, I just binge watched everything he had, all of his different app recommendations and things like that. I bought some stuff, that he had recommended, and he got commissions for all that. So, if you're wanting to go full time, I would just make sure that you are balancing things out in terms of this content is for this purpose, this content is for this purpose, and that you also are paying really close attention to the content that typically gets the higher response, and that you start thinking through why that might be. So if you find out that your iPhone content gets more response, then in that case, it might just be because there's more people that are, that have those phones. So therefore, the potential for the people that you can reach, could be higher. But I would research all of that, since you are making Apple content, in terms of, what percentage of Apple users have, the Macs compared to the phones, compared to the watches, compared to the HomePods, compared to the, all the different stuff that they offer. Next on our list today, we've got number 44, $2 beats. I'm going to skip this one, my man, just because we already answered one of yours earlier today. The next one that we have here is from Practical IT with Jeremy Leake. And the type of content is education with a IT focus. Goal of the channel: I'm making videos to fill in some of the gaps and typically exist in IT programs and to promote Linux, cross-platform, and open source software. Question: is my niche too narrow? I've made 400 videos and I only have 3,550 subscribers. Would I be better served moving from education to another category? So this category you select on YouTube, it's just kind of like a starting point, but YouTube actually has their own categorization system that they will put your content into, that has way more categories than what it is that we see. So like that part of it isn't that big of a deal. But in terms of you having 400 videos and 3,550 subscribers, on that, I would start looking at the view counts that you're getting. I would start thinking of the conversion there. I would start thinking that you are making content in to promote Linux, but you are doing different cross-platform and open source software. So therefore, you are going after Linux users, and even though there's a lot of them, in terms of the market share, they are a smaller group of people. So just keep that in mind. However, When it comes to the 440 videos with 3,550 subscribers, your conversion there is extremely low. Of course, that would be dependent on the amount of views that you are getting. But one thing that that I would start thinking about is if your views aren't, or your videos aren't doing that well in terms of, you know, the views that you're getting, then I would start working on that first, right? In terms of, you know, like which topics on my channel typically get a higher response. You know, when I start my videos in this way, you know, across my channel, do people typically respond to me opening my videos that way compared to these other ways that I do it? Those sorts of things. Working on your thumbnails to, you know, increase your click-through rate and all that. I'd be working on that stuff more than I'd be thinking about, you know, the category that you're choosing when you upload the content. Also, if you're not, start asking people, you know, to subscribe to your YouTube channel as well. Don't do it in the very beginning. You know, make sure that you are getting people, you know, through the content first. But if you can find little points in your video, let's say you're waiting for something to load, or you're, you know, doing something else to where you don't need to necessarily be talking on that part because you're showing them. Those are great moments to where you can be like, oh, hey, by the way, you know, if you are, you know, a Linux user and you're wanting, you know, more content like this, remember to subscribe to the channel. That little nudge goes a really long way if you remind people to do it. Lowcrafty Nook, hope you're awesome. Nice to see you in here today. Next, we're on number 46. Runaround Sue. Runaround Sue, Accessible Travel, says that they been on YouTube for less than a year. It's an accessible travel channel. Goal of the channel is to share my experiences in traveling with mobility challenges. The goal says, I know my niche is small and I'm way above the average creator age. I also feature my Westies who come on walks and on holiday with me, and they're a part of my channel, but their content is more popular than the accessibility. Should I cut them out as it's driving the wrong type of viewers? I'm having no expectation of being the next big thing. I'm too niche, but I do like it and I want to help people, but I still don't want to miss out on connecting with my audience. I'm sure there is one somewhere. So here's the thing. Accessibility and travel, I would assume that there are a decent amount of people that are interested in that because, you know, like I live in Thailand, for example, and like here, you know, accessibility in some cases can be an issue. Like the, yes, it does, T-Ruz. That's why I'm actually shifting around a little bit right now. But, you know, like here, for example, accessibility, you know, is a little bit of an issue in some places. So because of that, you know, somebody that would come here and be like, hey, you know, these are different things you're going to run into there and so on and so forth, you know, that's valuable to some people. So because of that, I think, of course, I need to look at your channel itself to go, you know, deeper on this, but I think that what you're doing is solid. In terms of, I'm not sure what your Westies are. I'm not sure what you mean by Westies, or maybe that's supposed to mean besties, like your friends. I'm not sure, but in terms of them being a part of it, it's fine as long as the message itself is still about the accessibility and you're still, you know, sharing that type of information with people. Then you're still okay, right? Like the only place where they might, you know, cause an issue is if they cause you to, oh, they're just dogs. Oh, okay, yeah, you're fine. You're fine there. So as long as people are coming in, you know, topically for the thing, but then you're introducing them to the dogs, totally fine. Yeah, no worries at all there. They can actually become part of the personality of your channel that will actually cause people to come back. Animals and content, yeah, that no problem at all there. That grouping of, you know, an animal and content, yeah, no problem at all there. But in terms of it being a narrow niche, you know, I'm sure it is, but in terms of the value that you can offer some, you know, really great value there. So let's see here. So thanks for the clarity on the dog breed. I was like, is that a dog? Are they meaning like besties? Are they like, I was trying to figure that one out. Tier Talk with Anthony Ganji says, Dirty Hawk keeps going through my material and placing copyright claims. Anybody else having issues with fake copyright claims? Let's talk about some problems that YouTube's having right now. So first is the copyright claim thing. So the fact that fake copyright claims are even possible, there's a headache with that within that itself. That is extremely frustrating for everybody that has to deal with that, and it's something people are constantly dealing with on YouTube, and it's unfortunate. The next problem they're having is the spammers that are impersonating people. That would be such an easy thing to fix, but they are just not fixing it for whatever reason, or the ways that I'm thinking are easy might not be as easy as I'm thinking they are, in terms of like, just like we have a custom URL, if you have a custom URL with this name, then therefore they don't allow somebody else to create a channel with that name. Easy peasy. Just like if you were trying to buy like a URL anyway, then, you know, you have a certain limit of the names that you can use. And if that name isn't available, then you have to go through and, you know, get another name. Easy fix for that. Another huge problem that they're having that they need to fix, these people that come in to these chats, and I'm shocked it actually hasn't happened here. Maybe they fixed it, but how people will come into this chat with like adult related themed names and trying to, you know, get people to go to these websites and stuff. They need to fix that too. There's certain words, if we can put them in our blocked words list, they should be able to put them into channel names as well, to where if it detects that you're trying to make a Google account with that name, it's like, nope, sorry. Or if you create the Google account with that name, they don't allow you to chat, right? To where it's like, hey, if you start to chat, they're like, oh, hey, sorry, you're not allowed to chat because your username contains these particular words, which are inappropriate for our platform. Done, right? Super easy to fix, I think. But, you know, I'm not a programmer. I haven't thought this completely through, but that's like, you know, my interpretation of like how you would fix that. Those things. Copyright, huge problem and just abuse, essentially going on there. The impersonation thing and the, you know, inappropriate chats. And the thing with the impersonation, it's like, you know, like, come on. Like, that's such an easy, you know, like that seemingly such an easy thing to fix. And it drives me crazy because one thing that YouTube is always, you know, like, oh, hey, everybody's mental health and let's keep their mental health together. You know what will drive somebody nuts is that community post after community post after community post after community post, you have to go in there and waste like an hour deleting all of these comments that, you know, that somebody made. So if they're not going to do that, then they need to at least have the option to where delete all comments from this user as part of that 3-dot menu dropdown where you can ban the person from the channel. And in addition to that, when you select ban person from the channel, they need to ban them immediately. So it's not like, okay, I'm going to ban this person from the channel, and then it has to go, you know, through all these different processes on YouTube's end in order to eventually have them banned, you know, like hours and hours and hours later. So then they still are getting the information that they need before they just create another account and do it again. They need to just ban them instantly and delete all their comments. If you ban them from the channel, it should instantly delete them and their comments from your entire, from your entire YouTube channel. The Whitechapel that you are talking about there is up in Chiang Rai. Yeah, I have been to that actually, Old Trish. That's only about like because I'm up in Chiang Mai. So Chiang Rai, that's that Whitechapel is roughly depending on how fast you drive through the mountains, I can get there in about like 2 hours, 2.5 maybe. Let's see here. Okay, so next up, let's keep going here. So we've got Madman Jack is our next channel here, and Madman Jack says they upload when they have time. The type of content is gaming and challenges for fun. The goal of the channel is to bring people laughs and smiles, and the question is, I've tried to the best of my ability to use the help from your past streams to get views and subs. I just want to bring people a good laugh and put much needed smile on their faces, but it doesn't need to be working for me. Any foolproof tips to really stand out so I can get more views and bring laughs and smiles to more people? Yep, absolutely. You need to go in, you got to figure out why exactly you are not getting the activity. So if like we have our YouTube analytics, right? With our YouTube analytics, this shows us like where our like, you know, fail points are essentially. So if you are not getting, you know, a response from what it is that you're doing, that means that you have to change what it is that you're doing, right? You have to do it in a different way. So like if you're, you know, taking the, you know, the tips and you're like, okay, this is good. Okay, so I'm going to, you know, just make like, you know, one thumbnail. I'm going to put some like, you know, extra thought into this thumbnail. Like it's not going to get you far. It might help like that video or something, but it's not going to get you that far. And you have to do all the things. So what you have to do is you have to go in, you have to look in your YouTube analytics, look at your click-through rate, your average view duration, how many people are completing your videos, how many people are going on to additional videos, how many people are subscribing to the channel, liking it, commenting, all those things. You got to look at all of that stuff, and you have to look for the places where you're not getting that activity. Those places where you're not getting that activity are big highlights of the things that you have to fix. We all have to do this, right? We all have to do this. So like when you have content that doesn't perform, you have to go in, you'll be like, okay, why did this not perform? Did the topic suck? Okay, it was a topic. Did the thumbnail suck? Okay, I got to change it. Does the title on this, could it be better? Okay, let me change it. Let me make it better. Is the, you know, did people not watch this, you know, for that long? Did my hook just not grab their attention? They ended up leaving. That happens. Then you just have to say, okay, well, next time I'm going to spend a little bit extra time on my hook so I can ensure that this hook is going to, you know, be better and it's going to resonate more with people, you know, when they come into it. So, so it comes down to like you doing the stuff, you know, actually doing the work side of it, which is going in, analyzing your content, seeing how people are responding to things, and then of course adjusting in order to, you know, to make that better experience for the users of YouTube. Because, you know, we can do what we want And we can just make things like we want to make them. And in some cases that works out. But in a lot of cases, we also have to think that like we're making content for other people. We like making content, but we're making that content for other people to enjoy. So therefore, we have to make content in a way, and we have to modify things over time in a way to help people enjoy it more, right? Or to help people be able to enjoy it. So, so if you're not getting that response, you gotta, you gotta roll up your sleeves and do the hard stuff, which is like figure out where it is that you're not getting that response and then start working on figuring out how to fix it. Old Trish says YouTube needs a panel of creators like Nick to work out how to run their company. No, not how to run their company, but it would be advantageous. Like I'm sure they have like, like superstar, people that, give them, advice and stuff that work with them. And I actually do participate in some conversations. Like I do get the opportunity, from time to time to participate in conversations, around YouTube with YouTube employees. So, so that side of things, I do get, but when it comes to like, hey, how do we fix these problems? Does anybody have any ideas? Like that. Yeah, that would be fantastic. I'd love to be a part of that conversation. Let's see here. So next up, we've got Creative Life with Jesus is our next question, or the next channel. And let's see here. Let me scroll down. They upload when they have time. The type of channel is creativity and Christian life. The goal of the channel is helping fellow Christians be more creative as we follow Jesus. And the question is, happy summer, almost. It's always summer where I'm at. We have like summer, hot summer, wet summer, and then cool season, which can also get, kind of hot at times. It's always summer where I'm at. But let's see here. Most Saturday mornings, I'm leaving from your live streams. I've learned about other YouTubers through Jevin Dovey, your brother D, and you. A few content creators seem not to have posted for a year. Are they not making it work on YouTube anymore? That leads to this question. How likely is it that something else will make YouTube obsolete like MySpace? I actually struggle to remember the name MySpace. So this is a really good question. So there's a new YouTube channel by Matt Koval. He is a former YouTube employee, actually the YouTube liaison, and he just started a new YouTube channel for content creators. I just recently shared it in my community feed, and I really encourage all of you to go and watch that video that he published, because the video is about the life cycle of a content creator, and it's something that people don't think about a lot. So, one of the things that you mentioned here is that few content creators, that they haven't posted, like a few of the people haven't posted in a year. So in some cases, what happens is as a YouTube content creator, as they, start to get that progress, a lot of additional doors start opening up for you. So, depending on, what it is that you're doing, you may or may not be able to fully capitalize on those opportunities. But for the people that can, in some cases, it will take their time away from YouTube. And at one point in time, all they were doing was YouTube, but then now that some of these other opportunities have opened up, now they have, YouTube that they're doing, and this other thing that they're doing, and this other thing that they're doing, and sometimes those other things then become the new priority. So it may or may not be to where, because of their YouTube channel to open those doors, that may happen, but it could also be that those new opportunities just took their interests in a totally new direction, and they're more focused on that now than they are on YouTube. So like, that's a totally normal thing. It happens all the time. In addition to that, some content creators will come onto YouTube, they'll make a ton of money, and they'll be like, hey, I'm just going to like invest this money and do this. And now I have this like huge nest egg, and I'm just going to like chill out. I'm not even going to like worry about it. I'm just going to, just upload maybe from time to time. And I'm just not really going to like, worry about it that much. Like some people, they have that opportunity as well. So when it comes to, content creators, they're on the rise, and then just all of a sudden they just stop uploading, or they start uploading less. That's apparently, a pretty normal thing, just based on the, additional opportunities that come with being a content creator. Like, I can tell you this, when it comes to doing all this stuff, like as a content creator, the opportunities that come your way are really surprising, because, you have the things that you expect, right? Like you have the things that you're like, hey, there's a good chance this might happen, a good chance this might happen. If I'm, doing really awesome, then, this door might open. But then there's other things that come your way to where you're like, wow, I would have never thought that me uploading videos to the internet would turn into like these types of things. Like it's really interesting. Just, some of the opportunities that people get. Yeah. Creator Dynamics is the name of the YouTube channel also. Yeah, Doug just put it in here. We can actually just link directly to the video. So Chantel has it linked in the community tab. She just put a link to it right there. So if anybody wants to, check out that video, feel free. Really interesting video. But basically, they have it dialed into the typical lifespan in terms of a creator going hard is like 5 years. It's crazy, right? So, so that's basically the thing. So I've been going for like since 2014. So I've been going for like 7 years, you know, almost 8 years now on mine. So I'm like a little bit past that threshold. But as you can see, if you look at my channel follows the graphs that he's sharing in there, because, you know, like I went hard to 2 videos per week plus a live stream religiously without fail every single week for years. And then consistency started getting shaky. You know, now, you know, there's some weeks that go by to where, you know, I don't upload a video, but I still show up for the live streams. You know, those types of things to where, you know, you just have that like, and then, you know, just kind of goes like this as you don't put in as much to it as you used to. So it's a really interesting video. I really encourage everybody to watch it. It's great. And subscribe to his channel, like while you're over there. Subscribe to his channel because, again, like he worked for YouTube for a decade. So he's got just so much, you know, information that he's going to be sharing on that YouTube channel. And it's going to be super interesting. So I really encourage everybody to subscribe to his YouTube channel. So let's see here. So next up, we've got Marku Wow Rosinski. They do movie reviews. And they've been on YouTube for a year or more. They have a movie review channel. The goal of the channel is to become valuable for those looking for enjoyable movie knowledge. The question is, hey, Nick, making thumbnails to shorts, should they be vertical or horizontal? Just go ahead and make them normal. If you're making thumbnails for your shorts, because, you know, they don't show in the shelf, of course. So if you're making the thumbnails for the shorts, then in that case, just make them, you know, a normal thumbnail. 16:9 ratio is what I mean by normal. You know, like we're coming to that point in time to where we can't really call vertical or horizontal videos normal anymore, right? Because there's so much vertical content out there, and we're moving so much in that direction of vertical on all these different platforms that we can't really call, you know, 16:9 ratio normal anymore. It's interesting, pretty interesting time watching all this evolve. Gary, Keep It Simple is our next channel that we're looking at here. The next question that we're answering. They do tech content. The goal of the channel is to make money and education for others. The question is how to get found on search. Similar title as another creator, similar thumb, same tag, similar description. He shows everywhere. I have to really look to find mine. What makes the difference? So if you are optimizing for YouTube search and you're trying to get your videos to show up in search, but they're not, it comes down to you not being able to compete for that term at this moment in time. So basically, YouTube search is just like everywhere else on the platform, to where you have to make sure that when you are putting a piece of content out and you're targeting YouTube search, that you are looking at the videos that are there before you even make the video, before you even commit to it. But you have to make sure that you are looking at the content that you're going to be competing against, and that you can make sure that you can compete with that content. Because if you can't, then you're not going to show up in those, you know, in those top results. You have to scroll for a really long time in order to find your content. So because of that, you know, if you're not showing up there and other people are showing up everywhere, then there could be 2 things going on. One could be that you watch that person's content a lot, therefore theirs gets prioritized there for you, because YouTube knows that you interact with that content creator a lot, therefore they show show some of their content there at a higher ranking than they normally would because you are participating in their channel. That could be going on. And then 2, it could also be that just the content right now isn't, you know, as competitive for, you know, that particular term, but it can rise over time. So, so keep that in mind. But one way to get around this is doing your keyword research first and figuring out what it is that you're going to target based on the competition that's there. So what you want to do, and TubeBuddy will help you do this. I got a link to TubeBuddy in the description. But with TubeBuddy, one of the things that it does is it helps you look for or identify high volume search terms that have lower amounts of competition, which then it gives you the opportunity to increase your chances of showing up in those search results because not as many people are competing for those terms. That's the idea. So next up on our list here, and Chantel just dropped the link there to TubeBuddy. Thank you for that. So we are at 51 now. So we crossed that 50 threshold. High five and fist bump to us. Woo. So Brown and Beachy says that they do, let's see here, what do we got? They upload 1 time per week or more. They do luxury travel content. The goal of the channel is to help people discover travel locations and experiences. Question, if after 1,000 subscribers, should we concern ourselves with how many subs we have or focus on creating quality content to encourage more viewership? Always focus on creating quality content to encourage more viewership. Always. If you have 1 subscriber, focus on that. Like, I know you want to get that 1,000 subscribers so you can get into the partner program. So yes, focus on trying to get that 1,000 subscribers, but the only way to get that 1,000 subscribers is by giving good content. So like you're doing the thing, right? But once you cross that 1,000, once you get that, goal that you're trying to hit, always focus on quality content to encourage more viewership. That's always the priority, because when you focus on that, then everything else happens, right? When you focus on like, hey, I'm going to make this quality content that adds value to people, whatever that value is, that you're offering, I'm going to focus on making that content that adds value to people, and I'm going to learn how to get people to click on it. If you always focus on that as the priority, then you'll do fine. And subscribers will come. There's things you can do to get them to come faster by asking them to subscribe, things like that. But at the end of the day, just focus on making great content for them, and they will they'll subscribe. People that want to. Let's see here, number 52. Cashing out with Nisi. Says they upload one time per week or more. They do casino slot playing channel. The goal of the channel is to show people how to play slots at the casino. The question: I've been uploading videos on a weekly basis for about 2 months. I have 49 subscribers. I'd like to know if I should be uploading more videos per week in order to get subscribers and eventually become monetized. I wouldn't necessarily be trying to upload more unless you plan to continually do that, or unless you're just like, hey, I'm going to go hard until I hit this milestone of 1,000 subscribers. But when it comes to uploading more, you got to make sure that what you're uploading is effective, because if you are uploading more, but the content itself can't keep people engaged, it's not going to help you to upload more. But if you are uploading and then you're analyzing what people are doing, and you are, adjusting things based on, the feedback that you're getting, and then you're uploading again from that with that new information, then in that case, that's the right thing to do. And then once your content starts getting, to where it's like, hey, every time I upload, I'm getting, this certain amount of views, and I'm cool with that, and it's continually increasing, then in that case, that's where you're like, okay, I'm doing the thing, I'm picking up momentum. So now if I want to accelerate things, I'm going to experiment with doubling down on my upload schedule, as long as you can, handle that workload for a while. Let's see here. Next up on our list here, we've got Chaos, with a cool spelling here, Khaos. I like that. They have been on YouTube for a year or more. They do gaming and commentary content. The goal of the channel says I want to entertain people and support myself and family. The question is, 2 of my videos got 250 plus views in 2 weeks when I average 15 to 30. Should I just make vids with the same subject, theme park reviews, or continue to make them but branch out? Okay. So you say you have a gaming and commentary channel, but then your videos that are doing the best are theme park reviews. So you have a choice that you should make, in my opinion. That choice is, do I want to do, or can I do more theme park reviews and turn this into a theme park channel because that's what's doing well? Or should I stop uploading theme park videos because I want to create a gaming channel, or a gaming and gaming content commentary channel? If you are wanting to have that gaming and gaming commentary channel, but you have people that are coming into the channel and responding at a higher rate to that theme park content, those people, if they are, into theme parks, they might not necessarily care about your gaming content. So you're starting to create a little bit of a problem for yourself. If you are, if you're like, hey, I got this theme park content, I'm just uploading it and people are liking it, then you can be growing the channel of theme park enthusiasts that don't care about gaming content, which is going to end up hurting you when it comes to the gaming content that you're putting out. So I just be really careful with that particular approach, and make sure that you're just thinking about, like, okay, long term, what I want to do with this, or at least for the next year, what I want to do with this channel, what type of content do I want to make, what I want to be known as, in terms of the content that I'm putting up on YouTube. Ask yourself those questions. Next up on our list here, we've got, actually I want to check on something here really quick. Let's see here, 11:05, okay. So let's see here. So next up on our list here, we've got, let me mute this here really quick. There we go. So let's see here. So next up, the Y-Files. What's going on? Hope you're doing great. Does Nick have a live stream schedule? These are really helpful. I do, the Y-Files. I live stream every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. So the thing, basically every single stream is pretty much similar to what it is that you're seeing now. But if you see the little tag that I just put down in the bottom left-hand corner, it's every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And basically how this works is typically the people that are getting the questions in, like when we first start the stream, those get, answered first because they, I answer them in the order that that they're received. But today, I'm getting through them so fast today that I'm almost caught up to the amount of questions, which is pretty awesome. So like we're almost there in terms of, getting through like literally all the questions in the forum, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, we do this every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Glad you're enjoying the stream. So next up is Do Bros South Bay. Do Bros South Bay says they upload, or they've been on YouTube one time per year or more. The goal of the channel is to be a full-time YouTuber. The question is, TubeBuddy says SEO is at 90%, but video is not even showing in the first 100 is in their search. What's a good tip to make your video rank higher, and why might the reason is that it's not showing to viewers? Okay. So here's something that's really important to understand about TubeBuddy and YouTube. TubeBuddy is giving you information based on the data that they have on your channel and based on the terms that you are searching for. So what they're doing is they're showing you what your chances are essentially if you have a performing video in terms of people respond positively to it. So that 90% that you're seeing in TubeBuddy in terms of your optimization, that means that that you have everything optimized correctly or pretty close to 100% correctly there to give you the easier opportunity to show up in search. However, everything is still performance dependent, no matter what. So what that means is that TubeBuddy is helping you optimize, and they're helping you like narrow down the search terms that you're going for in terms of less competition but higher search volume. However, they can't guarantee you that you're going to show up in search because that part is on you, because they can help you optimize so that that you're optimized for it. However, they can't make somebody click on your thumbnail. They can't make somebody watch your video for a longer period of time. That part is on you. So basically, when it comes to YouTube search, if you can show up there, then that's part of it. But in order to maintain that search ranking, you have to outperform the other videos that are underneath you. So basically, when you see somebody showing up in search, that means that video is a video that people are clicking on at a competitive rate for that particular term, and they are watching that for a long enough time for it to be competitive for that particular term more than the other videos. They're further engaging in it and so on. So basically, when it comes to YouTube search, based on documents that YouTube has, when it comes to YouTube search, what they're looking for there is how much watch time that they're generating per impression. That's it. So when it comes to that, you can have your video optimized, but if people are clicking on it and they're abandoning your video quickly or they're leaving your video quickly, at least compared to the other search results there, then that means that your video is not going to end up staying in search. Or it might show up there, for a little bit and then it leaves, but then if people do respond to it well, then it can end up, coming back up in that search result. So the idea is that TubeBuddy helps you get ready and helps fully prepare you so that when you do show up there, or basically so that, so it's like, hey, this is the phrase I'm optimizing for. So help me do all the things to make sure that I, am doing everything correctly. Then that'll help you get there. But then from there, your probability of staying there is going to be, not probability, your ability to stay there is going to be based on how people respond once it shows up there in the search results. Let's see here. Hey, Nick, do you have any tips really quick? Puddle Pro says, hey, Nick, do you have any tips on motivation? I'm having a hard time actually filming my videos. So this is a really common thing. Like, this is going on a lot right now. So Nate from Channel Makers, he just made a video about this. I know several other people that are having this issue right now as well. Here's what I recommend. If you're having trouble uploading videos right now, first, I would reevaluate like your reason why you're uploading content in the first place. If you can't find a good reason, then just don't upload right now. And the reason for that, yeah, D is one of those people. My brother D, he's dealing with this right now too. So if you are, if you're having trouble, uploading, then that means that you're just not, there's a reason that you're not motivated to do it. And it's because, you're just not into it, or that you're at a loss in terms of like, I'm putting in all this effort and, like I'm not getting the results yet, things like that. And therefore, like in your brain, you start having these, like, is it worth it type of things. And that can be demotivating. And then there's also to where like it can be, you just don't have the energy based on all the other things that you're doing in your life. So the solution for this is one, to find a good why in terms of like, okay, I got to find something I'm really interested in, something I can ride out for the next handful of years based on that life cycle video that I was telling you about. I got to find something that I will be so interested in that I will be happy to publish videos about it over the next like 3 to 5 years. And then instead of looking at the video as like, oh God, I got to make a video, look at the video as part of a process, right? So instead of like, oh, I got to publish the video. Step one is just look at it as, okay, all I got to do is come up with a video idea, right? Step it out. I got to come up with a video idea. So then that doesn't take a lot of motivation. You can do that when you're on the bathroom. You can do that when you're having coffee, when you're eating, whatever. You can just sit there and be like, okay, once you figure out like, hey, this is the thing that I'm going to do, right? Then it's like, hey, while I'm doing other things, I can just, be thinking of video ideas. And I'm going to come up with that first thing, that first step, which is come up with a video idea. Next, let me sketch out some bullet points. I got the video idea. Let me sketch out some bullet points for this. Let me, just do that part of it. I'm not even thinking about like even recording the video right now. I'm thinking of like, okay, let's get the information together that I'm going to share. Let's figure out the structure or something. Like I got to get the bullet points together of what it is I'm going to be doing in this video. Then once you get those bullet points together, then go to the next step. Okay, I'm either going to script this out fully or I'm going to just add notes to these bullet points that I have, so that I can make sure I put this together. Then next, okay, here's the big moment. Right? I'm doing these easy things first, which is, the video idea, structuring the video. Now I got to actually make the content. So the way to get around this, because, I have these things happen, from time to time too, where I'm just like, I just don't feel like doing it, today for whatever reason. So the way that I get myself through that is I will start the process of actually getting ready to make the video. Once I go through that process, then it's easy for me to sit down and actually do it. That might not work for everybody. But for me, on the days that I don't really feel like doing it, to where I'm like, I just don't have the energy today or whatever, if I turn on the lights, I turn on the camera, I get everything like ready, to do the actual thing, and I focus on that, the actual like getting ready process, not the making the content process, but the getting ready the process. By the time I'm done with that, then all I have to do in that moment is like sit down and talk. So depending on the type of content you make, there might be a lot more involved with, how you do your content, but at the very least, you're going to have to do voiceovers or something like that. If you're doing animations, it's a totally different problem you're dealing with. But like, if you do make content where you're sitting there and you're talking to the camera, or you're doing that, plus B-roll, you're doing voiceovers with B-roll, that type of stuff, then in that case, being like, hey, I just got to turn everything on. I got to get everything ready, right? So like in Dee's case, as an example, like he's getting ready to go live here in like 3 minutes. Dee's going live. And he can do that, right? So he can go through he can get everything set up. His set, is looking awesome. He completely redesigned his set and all that stuff. So he's like one step away. Like he can live stream. He can, hop on calls, do all that stuff, but he's like one step away from making the video content. And that difference is actually a few steps. The difference is the topic and the actual, writing out the bullet points of what he's going to talk about. But he's got, the set, he's got, the turning on the lights, turning on the camera, sitting there in front of it. The only difference is actually just talking to the camera while it's recording versus talking to it while it's live, right? So like when it comes to, the motivation to do it for everybody, for all of us, one is having that why, right? For me, even when I don't upload content, I still show up here. And the reason for that is because the why for me here is like, I know that either, a lot of people in here or at least one person in here is going to get the same advantage out of YouTube or the same opportunities out of YouTube that I got. And that's going to make a huge impact in somebody's life here. So for me, that's the motivation that I get to kind of, pay it forward, so to speak, through doing these live streams. And for me, that impact is the thing that makes me just show up here and sit down here and do my live streams every single Saturday. So for me, that why is the reason or the motivation that I have to sit here and do that. In addition to that, I also get a lot of energy out of this because, for me, just, sitting here doing this thing, just talking straight for like, 3 hours and all that, like, I get a lot of energy out of this as well. So, I also get that exchange through that value that I'm giving. But for me, like I have that, strong why. That strong why doesn't resonate as strong for me in the actual video content, but it does for me in the live streams because I can help, directly versus I got to make this video. This video, needs to get, X amount of views, things like that in order for me to deem it as successful on, on my channel based on the purpose of that video and all that good stuff. So like when it comes to this, it just comes down to like I'm giving value and I hope somebody takes it away and does something with it, right? That's where I'm at here. So it's a little bit different when it comes to video content, but at the end of the day, getting that why behind it, can really make a big difference when it comes to the motivation and then working on the process versus it being like, hey, I got this video I got to make, which seems like a big project. chunking it down into these little parts of like, okay, I got to come up with a topic, I got to come up with a thumbnail, and just focusing on like that part. Don't even think about like, hey, I'm recording it or I got to, edit it, all that stuff. Just focus on like, hey, I just got to do this one thing. Figure out what it is I'm going to make a video about. And that's not hard to do. Anybody here, you can do that, which is, even if it took you a day to figure out, you could sit down and you could come up with your next video idea. Same exact thing for you. Like, okay, here's the topic. So I have that lead. So if this is what I'm going to talk about, or this is what I'm going to show, or this is the craft I'm going to make or whatever, then in that case, like what things do I need to collect in order to make this particular craft, or what, information I'm going to share, about this. And you just start bullet pointing that out, and you simply just work on each part of the process. Instead of working on the video, you just work on the individual parts of the process. For me personally, that has been huge for me. Anytime that I, face that wall of like, yeah, I just don't have the energy or I just don't feel like doing it. That for me personally, that has been extremely helpful for me. Hopefully that answered your question. So here, next up on our list, we've got Dashing Grandpa. Dashing Grandpa uploads every other day. They've been on YouTube for a year or more. They do gig work, and the type of channel is gig work. The goal of the channel is to help others who are new in the gig type of work with their well-being. And the question is, my last video's thumbnail uses the Amazon logo. Can't that be flagged as copyright? Trademarked. It's only on half of the thumbnail image. Technically it can, but in a lot of cases, a lot of companies don't even like worry about that sort of thing. But yeah, you can actually get takedown notices for the trademark because you are using their logos. So it's not copyright per se. It's actually more trademark related. So one thing that I do want to mention here really quick is like, how many new content creators do we have here? If you're new, just let me know here. Let me know here in the chat if you're a new content creator. And by new, I mean by your own interpretation of what new is. If you're a new content creator, just let me know in the chat here. Neil, yeah, I'm going to be booking my flights here within the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I'll see you there, dude. I'm super pumped up to hit Vid Summit this year. Okay, so we got a lot of new creators. So one thing that I do want to mention is that, as a content creator, especially when you're just getting started, like I sit here for 3 hours, I throw a bunch of information at you. And, some of it, in some cases it might sound like, man, I got a lot of stuff to work on. And in some cases you might. But what I recommend you do is that you do take notes, and that that you write down anything that's resonated with you during this stream. Just write it down, like right now. Write it down in your notepad, like in your phone. Write it down, if you have a piece of paper laying next to you or whatever, and just write it down so you can work on, those things that have resonated with you. Like if I've talked about anything, click-through rate on thumbnails, average view duration, how to, make your videos do better, that kind of stuff. Like any of the stuff that we've talked about today. If you're like, hey, that made tons of sense, let me go see if I'm doing that. Or, let me see, he mentioned CTR. I don't even know what that means. It means click-through rate, by the way. but I'm going to go and research and figure out, if there's any, features inside of YouTube that he happened to mention. I'm going to go and I'm going to, figure out what those things are. So therefore, I'm going to write them down. I encourage you to do that so that you can, learn more about the platform that you are operating on so that, it can help you thrive by, understanding all of those things. But with all of those things that, you might need to work on, I encourage you to just pick like a thing, or two, and just focus on that so you can, just make sure that you're, that you get that thing taken care of. So go through some of your video content, look at how your videos are starting, look at your click-through rate, look at your average view duration, look at how many people you're getting to complete your video and click on another video. Start looking at some of those things so that you can start seeing where it is that you need to improve. And then I'll see you back here next Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern to give you some more stuff to work on. John Riggs says CTR is important. Absolutely. Huge. So really quick, I just want to thank everybody for hanging out. Have an awesome rest of your weekend. I will see you back here next Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And make sure you hit the thumbs up button on the way out. And everybody have an awesome rest of your weekend. When I hit the end this stream, if you want your channel reviewed, for some of you that are getting started here, my brother D and Daniel Batal are getting to do a live stream on the StreamYard channel. As soon as I hit the end button here, it's going to send you over there. So if you want to have some feedback on your YouTube channel, you want to have somebody actually look at your channel and say, hey, you could do this better, you could do this better, you could do this better, then make sure you head over to that stream because that's what it is that they're going to be doing over there. And they're starting actually right now. So thank you everybody so much for hanging out, and I will see you next weekend. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next weekend.